The Ogryn emerged during humanity's relentless expansion across the galaxy in the dark age of technology, when mankind's reach extended to worlds that challenged the very limits of human adaptability. Among the countless planets colonized during this golden age of exploration, the high-gravity worlds presented unique evolutionary pressures that would forge one of the Imperium's most distinctive abhuman strains. These worlds, with gravitational forces often exceeding twice or even 3 times that of ancient Terra, demanded radical physiological adaptations from their human settlers. The transformation from baseline human to what would eventually be classified as Homo sapiens gigantus occurred over thousands of years through a combination of natural selection and the harsh realities of life on worlds where every step required tremendous effort. The original colonists who settled these high-gravity environments faced immediate challenges that would prove fatal to the weak and favor those with naturally robust physiques. Over successive generations, these populations developed increasingly pronounced musculature, denser bone structures, and enlarged frames capable of functioning effectively under crushing gravitational stress. Unlike the chaotic mutations that plagued humanity during the Age of Strife, the Ogryn represented a stable evolutionary branch that maintained genetic compatibility with baseline humans while developing distinct characteristics suited to their environment. The stability of this mutation set them apart from the countless failed abhuman strains that emerged and vanished during humanity's darkest period. Where other abhuman populations often suffered from genetic instability or fatal mutations, the Ogryn maintained a consistent phenotype that proved remarkably resilient across different high-gravity worlds. The Imperial biologists, upon first encountering these massive humans during the Great Crusade, conducted extensive studies to understand their unique physiology. Their classification as Homo sapiens gigantus reflected not merely their impressive size, but the comprehensive nature of their adaptation to extreme gravitational environments. Standing typically between 8 and 10 feet in height, with some exceptional specimens reaching even greater proportions, the Ogryn possessed bone density nearly 3 times that of baseline humans. This skeletal reinforcement prevented the crushing fractures that would cripple ordinary humans under such gravitational stress. Their muscular development followed similar patterns of extreme adaptation. Ogryn muscle fibers demonstrated significantly greater density and strength than their baseline human counterparts, with particular development in the legs, back, and core regions essential for movement under high gravity. This musculature gave them their characteristic bulky appearance, with massive shoulders, thick necks, and limbs that appeared disproportionately large even for their considerable height. The cardiovascular system similarly adapted, with enlarged hearts and reinforced blood vessels capable of pumping blood efficiently throughout their massive frames against intense gravitational pull. The biologists distinguished the Ogryn from other recognized abhuman strains through careful genetic analysis and physiological comparison. Unlike the ratlings of low-gravity worlds, who developed compact frames and enhanced dexterity, the Ogryn represented the opposite extreme of human adaptation. Where ratlings excelled in precision and agility, Ogryn demonstrated raw physical power and endurance. The comparison with squats, another abhuman strain adapted to high-gravity environments, revealed crucial differences in evolutionary path. While squats developed compact, stocky builds optimized for underground mining operations, Ogryn maintained their imposing height while gaining massive bulk. The role of gravitational environment in shaping Ogryn development extended beyond mere physical characteristics. Their respiratory systems adapted to function efficiently in the dense atmospheres often found on high-gravity worlds, developing enlarged lung capacity and reinforced chest structures. Their digestive systems similarly evolved to process the high-calorie diets necessary to fuel their massive frames, with some populations developing the ability to derive nutrition from plant matter that would be indigestible to baseline humans. Neurological development in Ogryn populations followed a different trajectory than their physical evolution. The extreme energy requirements of maintaining their massive frames in high-gravity environments left fewer resources available for complex brain development. This resulted in the characteristic mental simplicity that became synonymous with the Ogryn strain. However, this apparent limitation masked a different form of intelligence adapted to their environment, an intuitive understanding of physical forces, structural integrity, and practical problem-solving that served them well in their harsh homeworlds. The specific worlds that produced stable Ogryn populations shared common characteristics beyond their crushing gravity. Many featured dense metallic cores that generated powerful magnetic fields, contributing to atmospheric retention despite the intense gravitational forces. These worlds often supported hardy vegetation adapted to high-gravity conditions, providing the substantial biomass necessary to sustain large herbivorous populations that, in turn, could support human communities. The geological stability of many high-gravity worlds, resulting from their massive cores, provided relatively safe environments for long-term human settlement despite the physical challenges. Archaeological evidence from several Ogryn homeworlds suggests that the early stages of their evolution involved significant population bottlenecks. The transition period, when baseline human colonists were adapting to high-gravity conditions, resulted in high mortality rates and reduced fertility. Only those populations with the genetic flexibility to adapt survived these challenging centuries. This evolutionary pressure created the genetic uniformity that characterizes modern Ogryn populations, eliminating much of the genetic diversity present in baseline human populations. The cultural development of Ogryn societies reflected their physical limitations and environmental pressures. Without the cognitive capacity for complex technological development, they maintained relatively simple social structures focused on survival and community cooperation. Their societies typically organized around extended family groups or clans, with leadership based on physical prowess and practical wisdom rather than intellectual achievement. This social organization proved remarkably stable across different Ogryn worlds, suggesting deep-rooted behavioral adaptations alongside their physical evolution. When Imperial expeditionary fleets first encountered Ogryn populations during the Great Crusade, the initial contact protocols varied significantly depending on the specific circumstances and the commanding officers involved. Some encounters occurred peacefully, with Imperial diplomats recognizing the potential value of these massive humans as military assets. Other first contacts involved conflict, particularly when Ogryn populations had developed warrior cultures that viewed the arrival of smaller humans as either a threat or an opportunity for conquest. The Imperial assessment of Ogryn loyalty proved complex and varied between different populations. Many Ogryn communities demonstrated remarkable loyalty to those who earned their trust and respect, viewing authority figures as extensions of their clan-based social structures. This natural inclination toward hierarchy and loyalty made them potentially valuable imperial citizens, but their limited cognitive abilities made complex political concepts difficult to communicate. Imperial commanders quickly learned that Ogryn loyalty, once earned, proved nearly unshakable, but required careful cultivation and clear, simple communication. The utility of Ogryn populations to the expanding Imperium became apparent through various practical demonstrations. Their incredible physical strength made them invaluable for heavy construction projects, particularly in high-gravity environments where even power-assisted baseline humans struggled to function effectively. Their natural resilience and pain tolerance, developed through millennia of adaptation to harsh conditions, made them excellent candidates for dangerous manual labor that would quickly incapacitate ordinary workers. Military applications for Ogryn abilities emerged through both formal testing and battlefield necessity. Their massive frames could carry weapons and equipment loads that would overwhelm baseline humans, while their natural toughness provided inherent protection against small arms fire and shrapnel. Early Imperial military advisors noted that properly equipped and directed Ogryn could serve as living siege engines, capable of breaching fortifications through sheer physical force where conventional troops would require heavy weapons support. The integration of Ogryn populations into Imperial society required significant adaptation of standard protocols and procedures. Traditional imperial education systems proved inadequate for Ogryn mental capabilities, necessitating the development of specialized training programs focused on practical skills and simple command structures. Medical facilities required modification to accommodate their massive frames and unique physiological needs, while standard imperial equipment proved inadequate for their size and strength requirements. The remarkable physical transformation that defines the Ogryn strain extends far beyond their imposing stature, encompassing a comprehensive suite of biological adaptations that fundamentally altered human physiology. Standing between 2.5 and 3 meters in height, with exceptional specimens occasionally reaching even greater proportions, Ogryn represent one of the most dramatic examples of successful human adaptation to extreme environmental conditions. Their massive frames, however, constitute merely the most visible aspect of evolutionary changes that permeate every system within their bodies. The skeletal structure of an Ogryn demonstrates the most pronounced departure from baseline human anatomy. Their bones possess a density approximately 2.8 times greater than those of standard humans, with cortical bone thickness increased by nearly 400% in load-bearing areas. The femur alone can measure up to 70 centimeters in length, with a circumference that often exceeds the waist measurement of an average imperial guardsman. This extraordinary bone density serves multiple functions beyond simply supporting their massive weight under high-gravity conditions. The increased mineral content provides natural armor against impacts that would shatter normal human bones, while the expanded marrow cavities house proportionally larger blood, producing tissues essential for maintaining their enormous circulatory requirements. The vertebral column of an Ogryn showcases particularly dramatic adaptations, with individual vertebrae enlarged to nearly 3 times the dimensions of baseline human counterparts. The intervertebral discs demonstrate enhanced thickness and elasticity, containing specialized cartilaginous structures that compress and expand to absorb the tremendous forces generated by movement under extreme gravity. The cervical vertebrae exhibit unique reinforcement patterns, with enlarged spinous processes and additional bony ridges that provide attachment points for the massive musculature required to support their proportionally large skulls. Ogryn cranial structure reflects both the benefits and limitations of their evolutionary path. While their skulls maintain the same basic human configuration, the bone thickness increases dramatically, with some specimens displaying cranial walls exceeding 15 millimeters in thickness. This natural armor provides exceptional protection against blunt force trauma, though it comes at the cost of reduced cranial capacity relative to their overall body size. The enlarged jaw structure accommodates teeth designed for processing tough, fibrous vegetation, with molars exhibiting enhanced enamel thickness and root depth that allows them to derive nutrition from plant matter that would prove indigestible to baseline humans. The muscular system of an Ogryn represents perhaps the most impressive aspect of their physical development. Individual muscle fibers demonstrate increased diameter and enhanced contractile protein density, generating force outputs that can exceed baseline human capabilities by factors of 8 to 12. The pectoralis major alone can measure over 8 centimeters in thickness, while the quadriceps femoris group often exceeds 25 centimeters in diameter. This musculature exhibits specialized fiber composition, with an increased proportion of type 2 fast twitch fibers that provide explosive strength capabilities essential for movement under high-gravity conditions. The cardiovascular adaptations required to support such massive frames prove equally remarkable. The Ogryn heart typically measures 18 to 22 centimeters in length, with ventricular wall thickness approaching 2.5 centimeters in some specimens. This enlarged organ pumps blood through a circulatory system featuring reinforced arterial walls and expanded vessel diameters necessary to maintain adequate perfusion pressure throughout their enormous bodies. Blood volume in an adult Ogryn can exceed 12 liters, nearly double that of baseline humans, while their red blood cell count demonstrates enhanced oxygen-carrying capacity, adapted to the metabolic demands of their massive musculature. One of the most significant physiological advantages possessed by Ogryn lies in their redundant organ systems. Unlike baseline humans, who possess only paired kidneys and lungs as backup organs, Ogryn have developed additional redundancies throughout their internal anatomy. Many specimens possess supernumerary ribs that protect enlarged lung lobes, while others exhibit duplicated sections of digestive tract that enhance nutrient absorption efficiency. These redundant systems provide remarkable survivability in combat situations, allowing Ogryn to continue functioning despite injuries that would prove fatal to ordinary humans. The respiratory system of an Ogryn demonstrates adaptations that extend beyond mere size increases. Their enlarged thoracic cavity houses lungs with increased alveolar surface area and enhanced gas exchange efficiency. The diaphragm exhibits exceptional thickness and strength, capable of generating the pressure differentials necessary to ventilate their massive lung capacity. Specialized cartilaginous reinforcements in the trachea and bronchi prevent collapse under the extreme pressures generated during heavy exertion, while enlarged nasal passages and sinuses provide enhanced air filtration and conditioning capabilities. Genetic analysis of Ogryn populations reveals remarkable stability compared to other abhuman strains encountered throughout the galaxy, where many abhuman variants demonstrate ongoing genetic drift and increasing deviation from the human baseline. Ogryn populations maintain consistent genetic markers across different worlds and populations. This stability extends to their reproductive compatibility with baseline humans, though such unions typically result in offspring displaying intermediate characteristics rather than full Ogryn traits. The genetic mechanisms responsible for this stability appear to involve multiple redundant gene clusters that resist the random mutations typically associated with environmental adaptation. The resistance to further mutation displayed by established Ogryn populations proves particularly noteworthy given their exposure to various environmental hazards throughout Imperial space. Populations relocated from their original high-gravity homeworlds to different environments show minimal genetic drift over multiple generations, maintaining their characteristic physiology despite changed circumstances. This genetic stability has proven invaluable to Imperial military planners, who can rely on consistent performance characteristics from Ogryn units regardless of their specific planetary origins. Neurological development in Ogryn populations follows patterns that reflect the metabolic trade-offs inherent in their massive physiology. The human brain typically consumes approximately 20% of the body's total energy expenditure, but the enormous caloric requirements of maintaining Ogryn musculature and bone density leave proportionally fewer resources available for complex neural development. This metabolic constraint results in brain structures that, while proportionally smaller than baseline humans, demonstrate specialized development in areas associated with spatial reasoning, pattern recognition, and social bonding. The cognitive limitations exhibited by most Ogryn populations manifest primarily in areas requiring abstract reasoning, complex problem solving, and long-term planning. However, their mental capabilities in practical, immediate situations often exceed expectations. Ogryn demonstrate intuitive understanding of mechanical principles, structural engineering concepts, and tactical situations that relate directly to their physical environment. Their ability to assess load-bearing capacities, identify structural weaknesses, and predict the physical consequences of actions proves remarkably sophisticated despite their apparent intellectual simplicity. Enhanced loyalty instincts represent one of the most valuable neurological characteristics of the Ogryn strain. Brain imaging studies conducted by Imperial biologist teams reveal enlarged development in regions associated with social bonding, hierarchy recognition, and protective behaviors. These neurological structures appear to have evolved as adaptations to the clan-based social organizations necessary for survival on harsh high-gravity worlds, where cooperation and mutual protection proved essential for community survival. The The resulting behavioral patterns manifest as fierce loyalty to recognized authority figures and an almost instinctual drive to protect those they perceive as part of their social group. The simplified thought patterns characteristic of Ogryn populations, while limiting their capacity for complex intellectual tasks, provide certain advantages in military and industrial applications. Their tendency to focus intensely on immediate, concrete objectives eliminates many of the distractions and hesitations that can compromise performance in high-stress situations. Ogryn soldiers typically demonstrate unwavering determination in combat, continuing to execute orders despite injuries or circumstances that might cause baseline humans to falter or retreat. Combat physiology in Ogryn specimens reveals numerous biological advantages that extend beyond their obvious physical strength. Their pain tolerance mechanisms demonstrate significant enhancement compared to baseline humans, with neurological pathways that can suppress pain responses during periods of extreme stress or combat. This adaptation likely evolved as a survival mechanism on worlds where injuries were common and medical resources limited, allowing individuals to continue functioning despite significant trauma. Natural toxin resistance in Ogryn populations stems from enhanced liver function and modified metabolic pathways that can neutralize many substances harmful to baseline humans. Their enlarged liver, often exceeding 3 kilograms in mass, processes toxins at accelerated rates while maintaining enhanced glycogen storage capacity necessary for fueling their massive musculature. This natural resistance proves particularly valuable in combat environments where chemical weapons or industrial toxins pose threats to conventional forces. The incredible physical strength exhibited by Ogryn specimens results from the combination of their enhanced musculature, leveraged skeletal structure, and specialized neural control systems. Individual Ogryn can generate grip forces exceeding 200 kilograms per square centimeter, while their lifting capacity in optimal conditions can approach 2,000 kilograms. This strength extends beyond mere muscle mass, incorporating improved neuromuscular coordination that allows efficient recruitment of their massive muscle groups for maximum force generation. Metabolic adaptations in Ogryn physiology reflect the enormous energy requirements of their enhanced physical capabilities. Their basal metabolic rate typically exceeds that of baseline humans by factors of 3 to 4, necessitating caloric intake that can reach 8,000 to 12,000 calories per day during periods of high activity. Specialized digestive enzymes and enhanced gut flora allow them to extract nutrition from foodstuffs that would provide minimal benefit to ordinary humans, including certain cellulose-rich plant materials and protein sources with unusual amino acid compositions. The endocrine system of Ogryn populations demonstrates modifications that support their unique physiology while maintaining reproductive compatibility with baseline humans. Growth hormone production continues at elevated levels throughout their extended adolescent period, which can last until their mid-20s, allowing for the gradual development of their massive frames without the structural failures that would result from rapid growth. Testosterone and other anabolic hormones maintain elevated levels that support their enhanced musculature while contributing to their characteristic behavioral patterns of aggression and territorial protection. Thermal regulation in Ogryn physiology incorporates adaptations necessary for managing the heat production of their massive metabolic processes. Enhanced sweating capacity, enlarged blood vessels near the skin surface, and modified hair follicle distribution help dissipate the enormous amounts of heat generated by their muscular activity. These adaptations prove particularly valuable in combat situations, where equipment loads and physical exertion would quickly lead to dangerous overheating in baseline humans. The scattered distribution of Ogryn populations across the galaxy reflects the ambitious scope of humanity's expansion during the Dark Age of technology, when colonization fleets sought out every habitable world regardless of the challenges they presented. High-gravity worlds, while representing only a small fraction of human-settled planets, produced remarkably consistent Ogryn populations wherever sufficient time allowed for proper adaptation. These worlds share fundamental characteristics that shaped not only the physical development of their inhabitants, but also established the environmental conditions that continue to sustain Ogryn communities throughout the 41st millennium. Anarch Zeta stands as perhaps the most renowned of all Ogryn recruitment worlds, its reputation built upon centuries of providing some of the most capable and loyal Ogryn regiments to the Imperial Guard. Located in the Segmentum Solar, this world experiences gravitational forces nearly 2.7 times that of Terra, creating an environment where only the most physically robust humans could survive and prosper. The planet's surface features vast plains of hardy grasses and root vegetables that provide the massive caloric intake required by Ogryn populations, while scattered mountain ranges offer natural fortress positions that have shaped the defensive mindset characteristic of Anarch Zeta's inhabitants. The mining operations on Anarch Zeta extend deep into the planet's crust, where dense metallic ores require the kind of physical strength that only Ogryn possess. These underground complexes serve dual purposes, providing essential materials for Imperial industry while offering practical training environments for potential military recruits. Young Ogryn who demonstrate aptitude in the mines often display the same qualities that make excellent soldiers: physical endurance, ability to follow complex instructions, and the mental fortitude to work in dangerous conditions without panic or hesitation. Krurk represents another significant Ogryn recruitment world, though its environmental conditions differ markedly from Anarch Zeta. This fortress world maintains a gravitational field of 3.1 times Terran standard, making it one of the most extreme environments where stable human populations have survived. The planet's strategic location along major shipping routes necessitated the construction of massive defensive installations, projects that required the kind of heavy construction work perfectly suited to Ogryn capabilities. Generations of Ogryn families have served as both the builders and defenders of Krurk's fortifications, creating a warrior culture that produces naturally disciplined military recruits. The Ogryn populations of Krurk demonstrate particular expertise in siege warfare, having spent centuries defending their world against various threats. Their understanding of fortification construction translates directly into knowledge of how to breach enemy defenses, making Krurk Ogryn especially valuable for assault operations. The planet's harsh surface conditions, including frequent seismic activity and extreme weather patterns, have produced Ogryn who adapt quickly to changing battlefield conditions and maintain effectiveness despite environmental challenges that would compromise other troops. Valhalla Prime, while better known for its ice warriors, maintains significant Ogryn populations in its polar mining regions, where extreme cold combines with high gravity to create uniquely challenging conditions. These Ogryn have developed enhanced cold resistance and demonstrate remarkable endurance in sub-zero temperatures, making them invaluable for operations in hostile climate zones. The mining operations on Valhalla Prime extract rare minerals essential for advanced Imperial technology, work that requires both the physical strength of Ogryn and their natural resistance to environmental hazards. The recruitment protocols established by the Adeptus Munitorum for identifying suitable Ogryn candidates reflect centuries of experience in evaluating potential soldiers from these unique populations. Unlike the complex psychological testing required for baseline human recruits, Ogryn assessment focuses primarily on physical capabilities, basic comprehension levels, and loyalty indicators. Recruitment officers look for specimens who demonstrate the optimal combination of size, strength, and mental stability necessary for military service. Physical evaluation begins with basic measurements and strength testing, though the standards applied vary significantly from those used for ordinary humans. A suitable Ogryn recruit typically stands at least 2.5 meters in height and demonstrates lifting capacity exceeding 800 kilograms in controlled conditions. Bone density scans ensure that candidates possess the skeletal reinforcement necessary to withstand the stresses of combat, while cardiovascular testing confirms adequate heart function to support their massive frames during extended operations. Mental evaluation of Ogryn recruits requires specialized techniques developed specifically for their unique cognitive patterns. Standard Imperial aptitude tests prove inadequate for assessing Ogryn capabilities, necessitating practical demonstrations that evaluate their ability to follow instructions, work as part of a team, and maintain focus during stressful situations. Recruitment officers present candidates with simple mechanical problems, construction tasks, and basic tactical scenarios to gauge their problem-solving abilities and response to authority. Loyalty assessment represents perhaps the most crucial aspect of Ogryn recruitment, given the devastating potential consequences of fielding unreliable troops with their physical capabilities. Imperial psychologists have developed behavioral observation protocols that identify the social bonding patterns characteristic of militarily useful Ogryn. Candidates who demonstrate strong family loyalty, respect for established hierarchy, and protective instincts toward their communities typically prove most suitable for military service. The role of planetary governors in maintaining Ogryn recruitment quotas varies significantly depending on the specific world and its strategic importance to the Imperium. Governors of major Ogryn worlds like Anarch Zeta face substantial pressure to provide consistent numbers of quality recruits, with their planetary tithes often specified in terms of trained Ogryn soldiers rather than conventional resources. These obligations require careful management of Ogryn populations to ensure sustainable recruitment levels without depleting the workforce necessary for essential planetary operations. Planetary defense forces on Ogryn worlds typically incorporate significant numbers of these abhumans, both for practical defensive purposes and as training grounds for potential Imperial Guard recruitment. Local PDF commanders serve as initial evaluators, identifying Ogryn who demonstrate exceptional military potential and recommending them for consideration by visiting Adeptus Militarum recruitment teams. This system allows for continuous assessment of Ogryn populations while maintaining planetary security requirements. The Adeptus Militarum maintains detailed records of Ogryn recruitment patterns across different worlds, tracking not only numerical quotas, but also the specific capabilities and performance characteristics of recruits from various populations. These records reveal significant variations between different Ogryn worlds, with some consistently producing recruits better suited for assault operations, while others specialize in defensive or engineering roles. Anarch Zeta Ogryn, for example, demonstrate exceptional loyalty and follow orders with minimal confusion, while Kirk specimens show enhanced tactical awareness and siege warfare capabilities. Recruitment timing follows carefully planned cycles that account for the extended maturation period characteristic of Ogryn development. Unlike baseline humans who reach military age in their late teens, Ogryn continue physical development well into their 20s, with optimal recruitment occurring between ages 25 and 30, when their strength peaks while retaining sufficient mental flexibility for military training. This extended recruitment window allows planetary authorities to plan their population management strategies and ensure adequate numbers of suitable candidates. Transportation of recruited Ogryn from their homeworlds to training facilities presents unique logistical challenges that require specialized equipment and procedures. Standard Imperial transport vessels lack the structural modifications necessary to safely accommodate large numbers of Ogryn, necessitating the use of heavy cargo ships with reinforced decking and expanded life support systems. The massive caloric requirements of Ogryn passengers strain standard provisioning systems, often requiring dedicated supply ships to accompany recruitment transports. Medical screening of Ogryn recruits involves comprehensive evaluation of their unique physiological characteristics to identify any conditions that might compromise their military effectiveness. Imperial medics check for genetic abnormalities that could indicate unstable mutations, cardiovascular problems that might limit their endurance, and neurological conditions that could affect their ability to follow orders. The redundant organ systems common in many Ogryn provide natural resilience against injury, but also complicate medical assessment procedures. The integration of recruited Ogryn into existing Imperial Guard structures requires careful consideration of unit composition and command hierarchy. Ogryn squads typically operate under the direct supervision of baseline human officers who possess the tactical knowledge and communication skills necessary for effective battlefield coordination. These commanders must understand both the capabilities and limitations of their Ogryn troops, maximizing their strengths while compensating for their cognitive limitations through clear, simple orders and well-established operational procedures. Training facilities for Ogryn recruits feature specialized infrastructure designed to accommodate their unique requirements. Barracks buildings require reinforced flooring, enlarged doorways, and heavy-duty furniture capable of supporting their massive frames. Mess halls must provide cooking facilities capable of preparing the enormous quantities of food necessary to sustain Ogryn populations, while medical facilities require specialized equipment sized for their physiology. The economic impact of maintaining Ogryn recruitment programs extends far beyond the immediate costs of transportation and training. Ogryn worlds must balance their recruitment obligations against the need to maintain sufficient populations for essential industrial and agricultural operations. The loss of prime breeding stock to military service can compromise long-term population sustainability, requiring careful genetic management to prevent demographic collapse. Some Ogryn homeworlds have developed specialized breeding programs designed to optimize their populations for military recruitment while maintaining genetic diversity and overall population health. These programs, overseen by Imperial biologist teams and local planetary authorities, track genetic lineages and encourage reproduction between individuals displaying desirable military characteristics. While such programs raise ethical concerns among some Imperial officials, their effectiveness in producing superior military recruits has led to their expansion across multiple Ogryn worlds. The cultural impact of military recruitment on Ogryn societies reflects their natural inclination toward hierarchy and service. Many Ogryn communities view military service as the highest honor their members can achieve, with returning veterans accorded special status and respect. This cultural attitude facilitates recruitment efforts while ensuring that military service remains attractive to the most capable individuals within Ogryn populations. Regional variations in recruitment practices reflect the diverse conditions found across different Ogryn worlds and the specific requirements of various Imperial Guard regiments. Some recruitment programs focus on identifying Ogryn with particular specializations, such as those with enhanced mechanical aptitude for engineering roles or individuals displaying leadership potential for non-commissioned officer positions. These specialized recruitment efforts require more sophisticated evaluation procedures, but produce recruits better suited for specific military applications. The quality control measures implemented by the Adeptus Munitorum ensure that recruited Ogryn meet minimum standards for military service, while identifying exceptional individuals suitable for advanced training or specialized roles. Regular assessment of recruitment programs identifies trends in recruit quality and allows for adjustments to selection criteria or training procedures. These measures help maintain the reputation of Ogryn units while ensuring that Imperial resources are invested effectively in their development and deployment. The transformation of recruited Ogryn from simple abhuman civilians into effective Imperial Guard soldiers requires far more than conventional military training. The unique physiology and cognitive limitations of the Ogryn strain necessitate comprehensive biochemical conditioning programs that fundamentally alter their neurochemistry, enhance their already formidable physical capabilities, and ensure unwavering loyalty to the Imperial cause. These conditioning protocols, developed over millennia of experience with abhuman integration, represent some of the most sophisticated biochemical enhancement programs employed by the Imperium outside of space marine creation. The biochemical enhancement program begins immediately upon arrival at designated Ogryn training facilities, where Imperial medics conduct detailed physiological assessments to determine each recruit's baseline capabilities and identify any contraindications for specific enhancement protocols. The massive metabolic requirements of Ogryn physiology create unique challenges for drug administration, as their enhanced liver function and accelerated metabolism can neutralize many compounds before they achieve therapeutic effect. Dosages that would prove lethal to baseline humans often represent minimum effective concentrations for Ogryn subjects. Combat stimulants administered to Ogryn recruits differ significantly from those used with conventional Imperial Guard forces. The standard Frenzon cocktails employed by baseline human soldiers prove inadequate for Ogryn physiology, requiring specialized formulations that account for their massive cardiovascular systems and enhanced pain tolerance. The primary combat stimulant designated Ogryn Alpha contains concentrated adrenaline analogs, synthetic endorphins, and neural conductivity enhancers in proportions specifically calculated for human metabolism. Ogryn alpha stimulants trigger cascading physiological responses that maximize the natural combat advantages of the Ogryn strain. The adrenaline analogs increase heart rate and blood pressure to levels that would cause cardiac failure in baseline humans, but merely optimize cardiovascular function in Ogryn subjects. These compounds enhance oxygen delivery to their massive musculature while increasing glucose availability for immediate energy demands. The synthetic endorphins block pain receptors throughout their nervous system, allowing Ogryn to continue fighting despite injuries that would incapacitate ordinary soldiers. The neural conductivity enhancers present in combat stimulants address one of the primary limitations of Ogryn military effectiveness: their slow reaction times and limited tactical awareness. These compounds increase the speed of neural transmission between brain and muscle, reducing the delay between receiving orders and executing actions. While they cannot overcome the fundamental cognitive limitations of the Ogryn strain, they significantly improve response times during combat situations where split-second reactions determine survival. Loyalty-enhancing drugs represent perhaps the most controversial aspect of Ogryn conditioning, though their necessity remains undisputed given the potential consequences of fielding unreliable troops with such devastating physical capabilities. The primary loyalty compound, designated Imperium Sanctus, contains synthetic analogs of oxytocin and vasopressin that enhance social bonding mechanisms while suppressing aggressive impulses directed toward authority figures. These neurochemical modifications build upon the natural loyalty instincts of the Ogryn strain, creating nearly unbreakable bonds between soldiers and their commanding officers. The administration of loyalty-enhancing drugs requires careful timing and dosage control to avoid compromising the aggressive instincts necessary for effective combat performance. Imperial medics have developed sophisticated delivery systems that maintain optimal blood concentrations of these compounds, while allowing for temporary increases in combat stimulants during battle conditions. The drugs create measurable changes in brain chemistry, strengthening neural pathways associated with obedience and hierarchy recognition, while weakening those connected to independent decision-making and questioning of authority. Intelligence-boosting compounds administered to Ogryn recruits represent attempts to address their cognitive limitations without fundamentally altering their brain structure. The primary nootropic agent, designated Cogity Enhancer, contains synthetic neurotransmitters and neural growth factors that enhance memory formation and improve pattern recognition capabilities. These compounds cannot increase overall intelligence levels, but they can optimize the utilization of existing cognitive resources and improve the retention of training information. The effectiveness of intelligence-boosting compounds varies significantly between individual Ogryn subjects, with some showing marked improvement in learning capacity, while others demonstrate minimal response. Imperial researchers have identified genetic markers that correlate with enhanced responsiveness to these treatments, allowing for more targeted application of cognitive enhancement protocols. The compounds prove most effective when administered during the initial training period, when neural plasticity remains at its peak and new behavioral patterns can be established most easily. Surgical implantation of control devices represents the most invasive aspect of Ogryn conditioning, though it provides the most reliable means of ensuring battlefield compliance and unit cohesion. The standard Ogryn control implant, designated the Cerebral Enhancement Unit, consists of a network of microelectrodes inserted into specific brain regions associated with aggression, fear response, and decision-making. These devices allow for direct neural stimulation that can override natural behavioral patterns and enforce compliance with orders even under extreme stress conditions. The surgical procedure for implanting control devices requires specialized techniques adapted for Ogryn cranial anatomy. Their exceptionally thick skull bones necessitate heavy-duty surgical equipment and extended operation times, while their enlarged brain structures require precise mapping to avoid damage to essential functions. Imperial surgeons must account for the unique neural architecture of the Ogryn brain, which differs significantly from baseline human patterns in both structure and function. Control device implantation typically occurs during the final stages of conditioning, after recruits have demonstrated basic military competency and loyalty indicators. The devices can be activated remotely by authorized personnel, allowing squad leaders and officers to maintain control over their Ogryn troops even when direct communication becomes impossible. The implants also monitor vital signs and stress indicators, providing commanders with real-time assessment of their troops' physical and mental condition during operations. The role of bonied leaders in maintaining unit cohesion extends far beyond simple command authority, incorporating sophisticated understanding of Ogryn psychology and the effects of biochemical conditioning. These enhanced Ogryn, selected for their superior intelligence and leadership capabilities, undergo additional conditioning protocols that improve their cognitive function while maintaining their natural connection to standard Ogryn troops. Bonieds serve as crucial intermediaries between baseline human officers and Ogryn soldiers, translating complex tactical concepts into simple, actionable instructions. Bonied conditioning includes specialized intelligence-boosting compounds administered in higher concentrations than those used with standard Ogryn. These enhanced nootropic treatments can improve their cognitive function to levels approaching those of baseline humans, though significant limitations remain in areas requiring abstract reasoning or complex problem solving. The conditioning process also includes leadership enhancement drugs that strengthen their natural authority instincts while improving their ability to maintain discipline within Ogryn units. The surgical modifications applied to bonied candidates include enhanced control implants that provide greater autonomy while maintaining loyalty safeguards. These advanced devices allow bonieds to make tactical decisions independently while ensuring they cannot act against Imperial interests or the orders of their human commanders. The implants also enhance their communication capabilities, allowing them to interface directly with standard Imperial communication systems and coordinate with other military units. Success rates for Ogryn conditioning programs vary significantly depending on the specific protocols employed and the quality of recruits undergoing treatment. Standard conditioning procedures achieve approximately 85% success rates, with most failures resulting from adverse reactions to biochemical treatments rather than fundamental incompatibility with military service. The most common complications include cardiovascular stress from combat stimulants, neurological damage from controlled device implantation, and psychological breakdown from loyalty conditioning protocols. The side effects of Ogryn conditioning range from minor physiological adjustments to severe long-term health consequences. Combat stimulants can cause permanent cardiovascular damage, particularly in subjects with pre-existing heart conditions or genetic predispositions to cardiac problems. The massive doses required for Ogryn physiology place enormous stress on their circulatory systems, leading to premature aging and reduced life expectancy in many conditioned subjects. Loyalty-enhancing drugs produce measurable changes in personality and behavior that extend beyond their intended military applications. Conditioned Ogryn often display reduced emotional range, limited capacity for independent thought, and difficulty forming relationships outside their military unit structure. These changes, while beneficial for military effectiveness, can create significant challenges for Ogryn who survive their service terms and attempt to reintegrate into civilian society. The neurological side effects of controlled device implantation include occasional seizures, memory loss, and gradual degradation of cognitive function over time. The electronic components of the implants can interfere with natural brain chemistry, creating imbalances that manifest as behavioral changes, mood disorders, and reduced learning capability. Long-term studies of conditioned Ogryn reveal progressive neurological deterioration in approximately 30% of subjects, though the military benefits typically outweigh these concerns. Specialized Ogryn variants created through advanced biochemical modification represent the cutting edge of abhuman enhancement technology. These experimental programs, conducted at classified Imperial facilities, attempt to create Ogryn with enhanced capabilities for specific military roles. The Ogryn Berserker variant receives massive doses of combat stimulants and aggression enhancers that transform them into unstoppable assault troops, though their life expectancy rarely exceeds 2 years due to the physiological stress of their modifications. The Ogryn Siege Breaker variant undergoes conditioning focused on enhanced structural awareness and demolition capabilities. These specialists receive nootropic treatments that improve their understanding of engineering principles while maintaining their natural strength advantages. Surgical modifications include enhanced sensory implants that allow them to detect structural weaknesses and calculate optimal demolition points with surprising accuracy. Ogryn Heavy Weapons Specialists represent another specialized variant, conditioned specifically for operating crew-served weapons and heavy equipment. Their conditioning includes enhanced hand-eye coordination drugs and neural modifications that improve their ability to track targets and calculate firing solutions. These Ogryn receive specialized training in weapon maintenance and ammunition handling, skills that require more sophisticated cognitive function than standard Ogryn typically possess. The development of new conditioning protocols continues at Imperial research facilities throughout the galaxy, with ongoing experiments in genetic therapy, advanced neural implants, and revolutionary biochemical treatments. These research programs seek to address the fundamental limitations of the Ogryn strain while preserving their valuable military characteristics. Preliminary results suggest that future conditioning programs may achieve significant improvements in cognitive function without compromising physical capabilities or loyalty indicators. Quality control measures for conditioning programs include regular assessment of treated subjects, monitoring of long-term effects, and adjustment of protocols based on performance data. Imperial medics track the effectiveness of different treatment combinations and identify optimal dosing schedules for various Ogryn populations. These studies have revealed significant variations in treatment response between Ogryn from different homeworlds, necessitating customized conditioning protocols for recruits from specific planetary populations. The economic costs of Ogryn conditioning programs represent substantial investments in military capability, with individual treatment cycles costing more than the complete training and equipment of entire baseline human squads. The specialized facilities, expert medical personnel, and rare biochemical compounds required for effective conditioning place significant demands on Imperial resources. However, the combat effectiveness of properly conditioned Ogryn units typically justifies these expenses through their superior performance in assault operations and their ability to accomplish missions that would require much larger conventional forces. The integration of Ogryn auxilia units within the broader structure of the Astra Militarum represents one of the most complex organizational challenges faced by Imperial military planners. Unlike standard Imperial Guard regiments that operate with relatively uniform personnel and equipment, Formations incorporating Ogryn require specialized command structures, modified tactical doctrines, and carefully balanced unit compositions that maximize the strengths of these massive abhumans while compensating for their inherent limitations. The successful deployment of Ogryn forces depends entirely upon the establishment of clear hierarchical relationships and the implementation of organizational systems specifically designed to accommodate their unique characteristics. Ogryn auxilia units typically operate as specialized attachments to standard Imperial Guard regiments rather than forming independent military formations. This integration model reflects both practical considerations and tactical necessities that have evolved through centuries of battlefield experience. A typical Imperial Guard regiment might include 2 to 4 Ogryn squads embedded within its structure, with each squad consisting of 8 to 12 Ogryn soldiers under the direct command of human officers. These squads function as force multipliers, providing concentrated assault capability and heavy weapons support that would otherwise require significantly larger numbers of conventional troops. The attachment of Ogryn units to existing regiments creates complex logistical and administrative challenges that require careful coordination between multiple command levels. Regimental commanders must account for the specialized equipment requirements, enhanced food provisions, and modified transportation needs of their Ogryn attachments while maintaining operational effectiveness of their primary forces. The massive caloric requirements of Ogryn troops constrain supply lines designed for baseline human consumption, often necessitating dedicated supply convoys and expanded field kitchen facilities. Standard Imperial Guard Company structure undergoes significant modification when incorporating Ogryn elements. A reinforced company might include 1 or 2 Ogryn squads integrated alongside conventional infantry platoons, with the Ogryns serving specific tactical roles that complement the capabilities of baseline human soldiers. These modified formations require enhanced command and control systems, as the cognitive limitations of Ogryn troops necessitate more direct supervision and clearer communication protocols than those employed with standard Imperial Guard units. The role of bonied Ogryn as squad leaders represents a crucial innovation in a human military organization that bridges the gap between human command authority and Ogryn operational requirements. These biochemically enhanced Ogryn possess sufficient cognitive function to understand complex tactical concepts while maintaining the natural connection to their fellow abhumans that allows for effective leadership and unit cohesion. Bonieds typically command squads of 6 to 10 standard Ogryn, serving as the primary interface between human officers and the rank and file abhuman troops. Bonied selection criteria extend far beyond simple physical capabilities, focusing instead on identifying Ogryn who demonstrate enhanced intelligence, natural leadership instincts, and exceptional loyalty indicators. Candidates undergo extensive psychological evaluation to assess their potential for cognitive enhancement and their ability to maintain discipline within Ogryn units. The biochemical conditioning process for bonieds includes specialized nootropic treatments that can improve their cognitive function to levels approaching those of baseline humans, though significant limitations remain in areas requiring abstract reasoning or complex strategic planning. The enhanced intelligence of bonied leaders allows them to serve multiple functions within their units beyond simple command authority. They act as tactical interpreters, translating complex orders from human officers into simple, actionable instructions that standard Ogryn can understand and execute effectively. Bonieds also serve as disciplinary enforcers, using their natural authority over other Ogryn to maintain unit cohesion and prevent the behavioral problems that can arise when large numbers of these powerful abhumans operate together without proper supervision. Training protocols for bonied development include specialized instruction in basic tactical principles, equipment maintenance, and unit administration. These enhanced Ogryn learn to recognize common battlefield situations and respond appropriately without requiring detailed instructions from human commanders. Their training emphasizes practical decision-making skills and the ability to maintain unit effectiveness even when communication with higher command becomes impossible due to combat conditions or technical failures. The relationship between human officers and Ogryn units requires careful cultivation of mutual respect and understanding that accounts for the unique characteristics of both groups. Experienced Imperial Guard officers learn to communicate with Ogryn using clear, simple language and concrete examples rather than abstract concepts or complex tactical terminology. Successful commanders develop intuitive understanding of Ogryn psychology, recognizing that these abhumans respond best to direct, honest leadership and consistent treatment, rather than the subtle manipulation or complex motivational techniques that might prove effective with baseline human troops. Commissars attached to formations with significant Ogryn components face unique challenges in maintaining discipline and morale among troops whose cognitive limitations make them less susceptible to traditional forms of political indoctrination. The massive physical capabilities of Ogryn troops create potentially dangerous situations if disciplinary measures prove inadequate or inappropriate. Experienced commissars learn to work closely with bonied leaders, using the natural hierarchy within Ogryn units to maintain order rather than relying solely on their own authority. The integration of Ogryn units into combined operations requires sophisticated coordination between different military branches and unit types. Tank commanders must account for the ability of Ogryn troops to keep pace with armored advances while providing close support against infantry threats. Artillery officers learn to adjust their firing patterns to account for the presence of Ogryn assault troops, who can advance more rapidly than conventional infantry and require different types of supporting fire. Command structure relationships in combined operations typically place Ogryn units under the direct control of company or battalion-level commanders who possess the tactical knowledge and communication resources necessary for effective coordination. These officers maintain constant communication with bonied leaders, providing updated orders and tactical guidance as battlefield conditions change. The command structure emphasizes redundancy and clear chains of authority, ensuring that Ogryn units continue to receive direction even if primary communication systems fail or key personnel become casualties. Specialized Ogryn formations represent the evolution of a human military organization beyond simple auxiliary roles toward dedicated tactical applications. Ogryn squads exemplify this development, consisting entirely of heavily armored Ogryn equipped with specialized protective gear and close combat weapons designed to maximize their natural advantages in assault operations. These formations operate with enhanced autonomy, capable of executing complex tactical maneuvers under the guidance of experienced bonied leaders. Ogryn squad organization typically includes 8 to 12 heavily armored Ogryn led by a bonied sergeant and supported by specialized equipment operators. The squad structure emphasizes mutual protection and coordinated assault tactics, with individual Ogryn trained to work together as a cohesive unit rather than simply as a collection of powerful individuals. Their equipment includes massive riot shields, power mauls, and specialized breaching charges that allow them to function as mobile fortresses capable of advancing through enemy fire and breaking through fortified positions. The tactical employment of Ogryn squads requires careful coordination with supporting elements, including suppressive fire from heavy weapons teams and close air support from Imperial aircraft. These formations excel in urban warfare environments where their combination of protection and close combat capability proves most effective. Ogryn squads can clear fortified buildings, breach defensive positions, and engage enemy forces in close quarters, where their massive strength and enhanced protection provide decisive advantages. Close assault specialist formations represent another evolution in Ogryn military organization, focusing on the development of highly mobile strike units capable of rapid deployment and devastating close combat effectiveness. These specialized Ogryn receive enhanced conditioning that emphasizes speed and agility alongside their natural strength, creating troops capable of closing with enemy forces quickly and overwhelming them through sheer physical superiority. Close assault specialists typically operate in smaller units of 4 to 6 Ogryn, allowing for greater tactical flexibility and reduced logistical requirements. The training regimen for close assault specialists includes extensive instruction in urban warfare techniques, building clearing procedures, and coordinated assault tactics. These Ogryn learn to use their massive frames and enhanced strength to maximum advantage in confined spaces, employing specialized weapons and equipment designed for close quarters combat. Their conditioning includes enhanced reflexes and improved tactical awareness that allows them to respond effectively to rapidly changing combat situations. Siege warfare specialists represent perhaps the most sophisticated application of Ogryn capabilities in military operations, combining their natural strength and endurance with specialized training in engineering and demolition techniques. These formations include Ogryn trained in the operation of heavy siege equipment, the placement of explosive charges, and the identification of structural weaknesses in enemy fortifications. Siege specialists work closely with Imperial engineers and tech marines, providing the physical capability necessary to emplace and operate equipment that would require much larger crews of baseline human soldiers. The organization of siege warfare specialist units reflects the complex nature of their operations, typically including a mix of Ogryn with different specializations working under the direction of human engineering officers. Some Ogryn focus on heavy equipment operation, using their massive strength to position siege engines and operate manual loading systems. Others specialize in demolition work, carrying and placing explosive charges in positions that would be inaccessible to smaller troops. The most capable siege specialists receive training in basic engineering principles, allowing them to assess structural integrity and identify optimal targets for demolition efforts. Siege warfare operations require extensive coordination between Ogryn specialists and other military units, including artillery support, air reconnaissance, and infantry protection. The specialized nature of siege warfare means that these Ogryn units often operate for extended periods in static positions, requiring enhanced logistical support and specialized equipment maintenance capabilities. Their operations typically involve high casualty rates due to the dangerous nature of siege warfare, necessitating careful rotation of personnel and ongoing recruitment of replacement specialists. The command structure for specialized Ogryn formations incorporates enhanced communication systems and modified tactical doctrines that account for their unique capabilities and limitations. Officers commanding these units require specialized training in abhuman psychology and tactics, learning to maximize the effectiveness of their troops while minimizing the risks associated with their cognitive limitations. The command structure emphasizes clear, simple orders and well-defined operational procedures that reduce the likelihood of confusion or miscommunication during complex operations. Logistics support for specialized Ogryn formations requires significant modifications to standard Imperial Guard supply systems. The enhanced equipment requirements of Ogryn squads, including their massive armor suits and specialized weapons, create transportation and maintenance challenges that exceed those of conventional infantry units. Close assault specialists require specialized weapons and equipment that must be manufactured to accommodate their massive frames and enhance strength capabilities. Medical support for Ogryn formations incorporates specialized procedures and equipment designed to address their unique physiological characteristics. Field medics receive training in Ogryn anatomy and physiology, learning to treat injuries and medical conditions specific to these abhumans. Medical evacuation procedures must account for the massive size and weight of Ogryn casualties, requiring specialized transportation equipment and enhanced medical facilities capable of treating their unique conditions. The integration of Ogryn formations with Imperial Guard regiments continues to evolve as military commanders gain experience with these specialized units and develop new tactical applications for their unique capabilities. Recent innovations include the development of mixed formations that combine different types of Ogryn specialists with conventional troops, creating highly flexible units capable of adapting to various tactical situations. These experimental formations show promise for future military applications, though they require significant resources and specialized training to implement effectively. The arsenal of weapons and equipment designed for Ogryn forces represents a unique intersection of Imperial engineering prowess and practical battlefield necessity. Standard Imperial Guard weaponry proves inadequate for Ogryn physiology, requiring specialized manufacturing processes that account for their massive frames, enhanced strength, and simplified operational requirements. The development of Ogryn-specific equipment has evolved through centuries of battlefield experience, incorporating lessons learned from countless engagements where standard human equipment failed to maximize the potential of these formidable abhumans. The Ripper gun stands as the primary ranged weapon for Ogryn forces, its design philosophy emphasizing reliability and stopping power over precision or sophisticated targeting systems. This massive automatic weapon measures nearly 2 meters in length and weighs approximately 30 kilograms when fully loaded, dimensions that would make it unwieldy for baseline human soldiers but prove manageable for Ogryn strength. The weapon fires large caliber rounds designed to cause maximum damage to enemy personnel and light vehicles, with each projectile carrying sufficient kinetic energy to penetrate standard flak armor and cause devastating wounds to unprotected targets. The internal mechanisms of the Ripper gun incorporate robust engineering principles that prioritize durability over complexity. The firing mechanism utilizes a simple blowback operation system that requires minimal maintenance and proves resistant to the kind of rough handling that Ogryn troops inevitably subject their equipment to during combat operations. The weapon features oversized controls and simplified operation procedures that accommodate the limited fine motor control of Ogryn hands, with large trigger guards and prominent safety mechanisms that prevent accidental discharge while remaining easily accessible during combat situations. Ammunition for the Ripper gun consists of specialized rounds manufactured specifically for Ogryn operations, with each cartridge containing significantly more propellant than comparable weapons used by baseline human forces. The projectiles themselves feature hardened cores designed to maintain structural integrity when fired from the weapon's reinforced barrel, while the cartridge cases utilize enhanced metallurgy that withstands the extreme pressures generated during firing. Standard ammunition loads for Ogryn troops include armor-piercing rounds for engaging hardened targets, high-explosive rounds for area denial, and specialized incendiary ammunition for use against enemy fortifications. The weight and recoil characteristics of the Ripper gun would prove unmanageable for ordinary human soldiers, but Ogryn physiology transforms these apparent disadvantages into tactical benefits. The massive recoil that would knock down a baseline human merely requires Ogryn troops to brace themselves properly, while their enhanced strength allows them to maintain accurate fire even during sustained automatic fire. The weapon's substantial weight provides natural stability during aimed fire, while the large ammunition capacity reduces the frequency of reloading operations that might expose Ogryn troops to enemy fire. Maintenance procedures for the Ripper gun reflect the cognitive limitations of Ogryn operators, incorporating simplified cleaning protocols and robust component design that minimizes the likelihood of mechanical failure. The weapon features easily removable components that can be cleaned and maintained using basic tools, while critical mechanisms include redundant systems that continue functioning even when individual components suffer damage. Imperial armories maintain extensive stockpiles of replacement parts for Ripper guns, recognizing that the rough handling characteristic of Ogryn operations creates higher than normal equipment attrition rates. Frag bombs represent the primary explosive weapon employed by Ogryn forces, their design optimized for the throwing capabilities and tactical applications most suited to abhuman troops. These weapons weigh approximately 2 kilograms each, a mass that would challenge the throwing ability of baseline human soldiers, but proves manageable for Ogryn strength. The enhanced throwing power of Ogryn troops allows them to deliver these explosives at ranges exceeding 40 meters, providing significant tactical advantages in assault operations and defensive engagements. The construction of Ogryn frag bombs incorporates specialized timing mechanisms designed for simplified operation by troops with limited cognitive capabilities. The activation system utilizes a large, easily gripped lever that requires significant force to operate, preventing accidental activation, while ensuring that Ogryn troops can reliably arm the weapon even under combat stress. The timing mechanism provides a fixed delay of approximately 5 seconds, eliminating the need for complex calculations or adjustments that might confuse Ogryn operators during combat situations. Explosive content within frag bombs consists of military-grade compounds that generate both blast effects and fragmentation patterns optimized for anti-personnel operations. The fragmentation sleeve surrounding the explosive core produces hundreds of metal shards that spread in a predictable pattern, creating a lethal radius of approximately 15 meters around the detonation point. The blast effects prove particularly effective against enemy troops in confined spaces, where the overpressure waves can cause significant casualties even beyond the fragmentation radius. Training protocols for frag bomb employment emphasize safety procedures and tactical applications that maximize their effectiveness while minimizing risks to friendly forces. Ogryn troops learn standardized throwing techniques that ensure consistent range and accuracy, while tactical instruction covers optimal timing for bomb deployment and coordination with other unit elements. The training includes extensive practice with inert training devices that replicate the weight and handling characteristics of live explosives without the associated dangers. Close combat weapons designed for Ogryn forces represent some of the most impressive examples of Imperial weaponsmithing, combining traditional melee weapon concepts with engineering solutions that accommodate the massive strength and size of abhuman troops. The standard Ogryn close combat weapon measures nearly 2 meters in length and weighs between 15 and 20 kilograms, dimensions that transform it from a personal weapon into a devastating instrument of destruction when wielded by troops with Ogryn strength capabilities. The most common close combat weapon employed by Ogryn forces consists of a reinforced club or mace featuring a massive head designed to concentrate the tremendous force generated by Ogryn strength into devastating impact effects. The weapon head typically incorporates hardened steel construction with specialized striking surfaces that can crush armor, shatter bones, and demolish light fortifications. Some variants include additional features such as flanged edges for enhanced armor penetration or weighted distributions that optimize the weapon's balance for Ogryn physiology. Power weapons adapted for Ogryn use represent the pinnacle of close combat equipment available to these troops, incorporating energy field generators that enhance their already formidable destructive potential. These weapons require specialized power sources and maintenance procedures that exceed the capabilities of standard Ogryn troops, typically being reserved for bonied leaders or specialized assault troops who receive enhanced training in their operation and maintenance. The power fields generated by these weapons can cut through enemy armor and fortifications that would resist conventional weapons, while the enhanced mass and reach of Ogryn power weapons make them devastatingly effective against enemy vehicles and structures. The tactical employment of Ogryn close combat weapons emphasizes their role as shock troops capable of breaking enemy formations through sheer physical intimidation and devastating melee effectiveness. Ogryn troops trained in close combat techniques learn to use their massive reach and strength advantages to engage multiple enemies simultaneously, while their enhanced durability allows them to absorb enemy attacks that would prove fatal to baseline human soldiers. Combat doctrine emphasizes aggressive assault tactics that bring Ogryn troops into close contact with enemy forces where their weapon advantages prove most decisive. Bullgrin equipment represents a specialized evolution of Ogryn warfare doctrine, incorporating heavy protective gear and specialized weapons designed to maximize their effectiveness in siege warfare and urban combat operations. The slab shield serves as the primary defensive equipment for Bullgryn forces, consisting of a massive rectangular barrier constructed from reinforced materials that can withstand direct hits from enemy heavy weapons while providing mobile cover for advancing troops. The construction of slab shields incorporates multiple layers of protective materials, including hardened steel plates, ceramic inserts, and specialized composites that distribute impact forces across the shield's surface. The shield measures approximately 1.5 meters in height and 1 meter in width, providing substantial protection for the Bullgryn operator while remaining manageable for troops with enhanced strength capabilities. Specialized mounting systems allow the shield to be secured to the operator's arm, freeing their other hand for weapon operation while maintaining protective coverage. The weight of a fully equipped slab shield approaches 40 kilograms, a mass that would prove unmanageable for baseline human soldiers, but represents a reasonable equipment load for Bullgryn troops. The shield's design incorporates specialized grip systems and mounting points that accommodate the massive hands and arms of Ogryn operators, while reinforced edges and corners provide additional protection against enemy attempts to bypass the shield's protective coverage. Some variants include additional features such as integrated firing ports for ranged weapons or specialized mounting points for explosive charges. Tactical employment of slab shields emphasizes their role in providing mobile cover for advancing Bullgryn formations, allowing these troops to approach enemy positions despite heavy defensive fire. The shields prove particularly effective in urban warfare environments where Bullgryn troops must advance through narrow streets and confined spaces under enemy observation. Combat doctrine emphasizes coordinated shield wall formations that provide mutual protection while advancing toward enemy positions, with individual Bullgryns supporting each other through overlapping fields of protection. Grenadier gauntlets represent specialized equipment designed to enhance the explosive capabilities of Bullgryn troops, while providing additional protection for their hands and arms during combat operations. These massive armored gloves incorporate specialized mounting systems for explosive charges and grenades, allowing Bullgryn troops to carry and deploy significantly larger explosive payloads than would be possible with standard equipment. The gauntlets feature reinforced construction that protects the operator's hands from blast effects and shrapnel, while providing enhanced grip strength for weapon operation. The design of Grenadier gauntlets incorporates multiple mounting points for different types of explosive devices, including standard fragmentation grenades, specialized breaching charges, and incendiary devices designed for use against enemy fortifications. The mounting systems utilize simple mechanical attachments that can be operated by Bullgryn troops without requiring complex manipulation or fine motor control. Specialized safety mechanisms prevent accidental activation of mounted explosives while ensuring rapid deployment when required for combat operations. Protective features of Grenadier gauntlets extend beyond simple armor plating to include specialized systems designed to protect the operator from the effects of their own explosive devices. The gauntlets incorporate blast-resistant materials and shock-absorbing systems that reduce the impact forces transmitted to the operator's arms and hands during explosive deployment. Specialized sealing systems protect against chemical and biological agents that might be encountered during siege operations or urban warfare environments. The tactical applications of Grenadier gauntlets emphasize their role in siege warfare and assault operations, where Bullgryn troops must breach enemy fortifications or clear defensive positions. The enhanced explosive carrying capacity provided by the gauntlets allows individual Bullgryn to function as mobile demolition platforms, capable of placing and detonating charges that would normally require entire engineering teams to emplace. Combat doctrine emphasizes coordinated assault operations, where Bullgryn equipped with Grenadier gauntlets work in conjunction with other specialized troops to systematically reduce enemy defensive positions. Specialized protective gear for siege warfare includes comprehensive armor systems designed to protect Bullgryn troops from the unique hazards encountered during prolonged siege operations. This equipment incorporates multiple layers of protection against different threat types, including ballistic armor for protection against enemy small arms fire, blast-resistant materials for protection against explosive devices, and specialized systems designed to protect against chemical and biological weapons that might be employed by desperate defenders. The comprehensive nature of Ogryn siege armor creates substantial weight and mobility challenges that require careful balance between protection and operational capability. The complete armor system can weigh in excess of 60 kilograms, a load that would immobilize baseline human soldiers, but remains manageable for troops with Ogryn strength capabilities. The armor design incorporates specialized joint systems and mobility enhancements that maintain reasonable freedom of movement while providing maximum protection against anticipated threats. Ventilation systems integrated into Ogryn siege armor address the unique physiological requirements of Ogryn troops operating in confined spaces and contaminated environments. The massive metabolic requirements of Ogryn physiology create substantial heat generation that must be managed through specialized cooling systems, while their enhanced oxygen requirements necessitate sophisticated air filtration and circulation systems. The armor incorporates powered ventilation systems that maintain comfortable operating conditions even during extended siege operations. Urban warfare deployment of Ogryn units requires specialized tactical doctrines that maximize their advantages while minimizing their vulnerabilities in confined urban environments. The massive size and strength of Ogryn troops provide significant advantages in building clearing operations, where their ability to break through walls and barriers can create new tactical opportunities, while their enhanced durability allows them to absorb enemy fire that would prove fatal to baseline human troops. Urban combat doctrine emphasizes aggressive assault tactics that bring Ogryn troops into close contact with enemy forces, where their physical advantages prove most decisive. Building clearing procedures for Ogryn units incorporate specialized techniques that account for their massive size and limited mobility in confined spaces. Standard door breaching techniques prove inadequate for Ogryn operations, requiring specialized procedures that utilize their enhanced strength to create new entry points through walls and barriers. Combat doctrine emphasizes rapid movement through urban environments, with Ogryn troops creating their own routes of advance rather than being confined to existing streets and passages. Coordination between Ogryn units and other military forces during urban operations requires sophisticated communication systems and tactical procedures that account for the cognitive limitations of abhuman troops. Command structures emphasize clear, simple orders and well-defined operational objectives that minimize the likelihood of confusion during complex urban operations. Supporting elements include specialized reconnaissance units that identify optimal targets for Ogryn assault operations and heavy weapons teams that provide suppressive fire during building clearing operations. Trench clearing operations represent another specialized application of Ogryn capabilities, utilizing their massive strength and enhanced durability to overcome enemy defensive positions that would prove difficult for conventional infantry forces. The confined nature of trench warfare environments provides natural advantages for Ogryn troops, whose massive frames and close combat weapons prove devastatingly effective in the narrow confines of enemy trenches. Combat doctrine emphasizes rapid assault operations that overwhelm enemy defenders through sheer physical superiority and devastating close combat effectiveness. Specialized equipment for trench warfare includes modified weapons and protective gear designed to function effectively in the unique environment of enemy defensive positions. Shortened versions of standard Ogryn weapons provide enhanced maneuverability in confined spaces while maintaining the stopping power necessary for effective combat operations. Protective equipment includes specialized armor configurations that provide enhanced protection against enemy grenades and explosive devices while maintaining the mobility necessary for rapid movement through trench systems. Tactical coordination during trench clearing operations requires careful integration between Ogryn assault troops and supporting elements that provide covering fire and tactical support. Artillery and mortar teams provide preliminary bombardment that suppresses enemy defenses and creates breaches in enemy positions, while infantry units provide follow-up support that consolidates gains made by Ogryn assault troops. Combat doctrine emphasizes rapid exploitation of initial breaches, with Ogryn troops advancing quickly through enemy positions before defenders can reorganize their defenses. Assault operations against fortified positions represent perhaps the most demanding application of Ogryn capabilities, requiring coordination between multiple military units and specialized equipment designed to overcome enemy defensive advantages. The massive strength and enhanced durability of Ogryn troops provide significant advantages in assault operations, allowing them to carry heavy equipment loads and absorb enemy fire while advancing toward enemy positions. Combat doctrine emphasizes coordinated assault tactics that utilize Ogryn troops as the primary assault element, while supporting forces provide covering fire and tactical support. Specialized assault equipment includes heavy weapons and demolition charges designed to breach enemy fortifications and overcome defensive obstacles. Ogryn troops can carry and deploy explosive charges that would require entire engineering teams to emplace, while their enhanced strength allows them to operate heavy weapons that would normally require multiple operators. Combat doctrine emphasizes rapid assault operations that overwhelm enemy defenses through concentrated application of firepower and explosive force. Logistical considerations for Ogryn operations extend far beyond simple supply requirements to encompass specialized manufacturing, transportation, and maintenance systems designed to support their unique equipment needs. The massive size and weight of Ogryn equipment creates substantial transportation challenges that require specialized vehicles and handling equipment, while the robust construction necessary for Ogryn operations demands enhanced manufacturing capabilities and specialized materials. Supply systems must account for the massive ammunition consumption rates characteristic of Ogryn operations, while maintenance procedures require specialized tools and techniques designed for their unique equipment requirements. Specialized equipment manufacturing for Ogryn forces requires dedicated production facilities and specialized tooling designed to produce weapons and equipment in the massive scales required for abhuman operations. Manufacturing processes must account for the enhanced strength requirements of Ogryn equipment, utilizing specialized materials and construction techniques that provide the durability necessary for their rough handling characteristics. Quality control procedures emphasize reliability and durability over precision or sophisticated features, reflecting the operational requirements and cognitive limitations of Ogryn operators. Ammunition requirements for Ogryn operations substantially exceed those of comparable baseline human units, reflecting both the larger caliber weapons employed by these troops and their tendency towards sustained automatic fire during combat operations. Supply systems must maintain substantial stockpiles of specialized ammunition types, including armor-piercing rounds, high-explosive rounds, and specialized incendiary ammunition designed for use against enemy fortifications. Transportation requirements for Ogryn ammunition include specialized vehicles and handling equipment designed to manage the substantial weight and volume of their ammunition supplies. Field maintenance procedures for Ogryn equipment incorporate simplified protocols and specialized tools designed to accommodate the limited technical capabilities of abhuman troops while ensuring continued operational effectiveness. Maintenance doctrine emphasizes preventive procedures that minimize the likelihood of equipment failure, while repair procedures focus on component replacement rather than complex repairs that exceed Ogryn capabilities. Specialized maintenance teams include human technicians who provide technical expertise while working alongside Ogryn troops who provide the physical capability necessary for handling heavy equipment components. The annals of Imperial military history contain numerous accounts of exceptional Ogryn who transcended their humble origins to become legendary figures within the Astra Militarum. These remarkable individuals demonstrate that while the Ogryn strain may lack the intellectual sophistication of baseline humans, their capacity for heroism, loyalty, and tactical brilliance within their specialized roles remains undiminished. The most celebrated of these heroes have earned recognition not merely for their physical prowess, but for their unwavering dedication to the Imperial cause and their ability to inspire both their fellow Ogryn and human comrades through acts of extraordinary courage and sacrifice. Nork Dedog stands as perhaps the most famous Ogryn in Imperial military history. His legendary service record spanning decades of protection duties for high-ranking Imperial officials across multiple war zones. Originally recruited from the Cadian Gate region, Nork's exceptional intelligence for an Ogryn, combined with his absolute loyalty and tactical awareness, quickly distinguished him from his peers during initial training assessments. His massive frame, standing nearly 3 meters in height and possessing strength that exceeded even typical Ogryn standards, made him an ideal candidate for specialized bodyguard duties that required both physical intimidation and unwavering protective instincts. The biochemical conditioning administered to Nork included enhanced intelligence boosters and specialized loyalty compounds that elevated his cognitive function while maintaining the fierce protective instincts characteristic of his strain. His neural implants incorporated advanced targeting systems and threat assessment protocols that allowed him to identify potential dangers to his charges with remarkable accuracy. These modifications, combined with his natural Ogryn durability and strength, transformed him into a bodyguard whose capabilities exceeded those of entire security details composed of baseline human soldiers. Nork's service record includes protection assignments for numerous high-ranking Imperial officials, including planetary governors, inquisitors, and senior military commanders operating in active war zones. His most famous assignment involved protecting Lord General Militant Stern during the Korava campaign, where his intervention prevented multiple assassination attempts by enemy infiltrators and Xenos operatives. During one particularly notable incident, Nork single-handedly eliminated an entire squad of Tau fire warriors who had penetrated the command bunker, using his massive strength to crush their advanced battle suits and protect his charge from certain death. The tactical awareness displayed by Nork during his protection duties demonstrates the potential for Ogryn intelligence enhancement when properly applied. His ability to assess battlefield conditions, identify potential threats, and coordinate with other security personnel exceeded the capabilities typically associated with his strain. Nork learned to operate sophisticated communication equipment, coordinate with orbital reconnaissance assets, and even provide tactical advice to his charges based on his extensive battlefield experience and intuitive understanding of enemy behavior patterns. Nork's equipment reflects his specialized role and exceptional status within Imperial forces. His personal armor incorporates advanced protective systems that exceed standard Ogryn equipment specifications, including reinforced ceramic plating, integrated targeting systems, and specialized life support equipment that allows him to function in hostile environments. His primary weapon, a customized Ripper gun designated the Payback, features enhanced accuracy systems and specialized ammunition types that provide superior stopping power against both human and Xenos targets. The psychological impact of Nork's presence on enemy forces cannot be understated. His reputation for absolute loyalty and devastating combat effectiveness preceded him into battle, creating fear and uncertainty among enemy commanders who understood that their assassination attempts would face opposition from one of the most formidable bodyguards in Imperial service. Intelligence reports from captured enemy personnel consistently identified Nork as a primary threat, requiring specialized countermeasures and enhanced resources to overcome. Nork's influence extends beyond his immediate protection duties to encompass broader impacts on Ogryn military doctrine and training protocols. His success demonstrated the potential for individual Ogryn to achieve exceptional performance levels when provided with appropriate enhancement and specialized training. Military planners studying his service record developed new conditioning protocols and equipment specifications that sought to replicate his capabilities in other Ogryn candidates, though few achieved his unique combination of intelligence, loyalty, and tactical awareness. The Siege of Vrax represents one of the most significant deployments of Ogryn forces in recent Imperial history, with multiple regiments of these abhumans playing crucial roles in the prolonged campaign to retake the fortress world from heretical forces. The unique challenges presented by Vrax, with its massive fortifications and entrenched defensive positions, provided ideal conditions for demonstrating the tactical value of properly deployed Ogryn units. The siege, lasting over 17 Terran years, saw Ogryn forces engaged in every aspect of the campaign, from initial assault operations to final fortress-clearing actions. The 5th Cadian Shock Regiment's attached Ogryn squads distinguished themselves during the early phases of the Vrax siege through their exceptional performance in trench warfare operations. The confined nature of the trench systems that surrounded Vrax Citadel proved ideal for Ogryn combat capabilities, where their massive strength and enhanced durability provided decisive advantages over the heretical defenders. Ogryn troops could advance through enemy trenches while absorbing small arms fire that would have decimated baseline human forces, using their close combat weapons to devastating effect in the narrow confines of the defensive positions. Sergeant Grok of the 5th Cadian earned particular recognition during the siege for his tactical innovations in trench-clearing operations. His modifications to standard assault procedures incorporated the use of specialized explosive charges that Ogryn troops could carry and deploy more effectively than conventional engineering teams. Grok's tactical awareness allowed him to identify structural weaknesses in enemy fortifications and coordinate demolition operations that created breaches for follow-up assaults by conventional forces. The urban warfare phases of the Vrax siege provided additional opportunities for Ogryn forces to demonstrate their capabilities in building clearing and fortress assault operations. The massive construction of Vrax Citadel, with its reinforced walls and defensive positions, required the kind of brute force approach that Ogryn troops could provide more effectively than conventional infantry. Ogryn assault teams could breach walls and barriers that would have required heavy weapons support for baseline human forces, while their enhanced durability allowed them to advance through defensive fire that would have stopped conventional assaults. Ogryn heavy weapons specialists played crucial roles during the siege's artillery phases, operating crew-served weapons and siege equipment that would have required much larger teams of baseline human soldiers. Their enhanced strength allowed them to position and operate heavy mortars, siege cannons, and specialized demolition equipment with remarkable efficiency. The 203rd Vestroyan Firstborn Regiments attached Ogryn squads operated massive siege mortars that provided critical fire support throughout the campaign, with their enhanced physical capabilities allowing for rapid repositioning and sustained fire rates that exceeded conventional crew performance. The final assault on Vrax Citadel saw Ogryn forces spearheading the breakthrough operations that finally overcame the heretical defenders. Bulgrin squads equipped with slab shields and specialized breaching equipment led the advance through the Citadel's outer defenses, absorbing enemy fire while creating gaps for follow-up forces. The psychological impact of these massive armored figures advancing through defensive fire proved as devastating to enemy morale as their physical capabilities were to enemy fortifications. Individual acts of heroism during the Vrax siege elevated numerous Ogryn to legendary status within their regiments and the broader Imperial military. Trooper Mag of the 17th Mordian Iron Guard earned the Imperial laurel for his single-handed destruction of a heretical tank column, using improvised explosive charges to disable 6 enemy vehicles while under heavy fire. His actions allowed his regiment to advance through a critical choke point that had stalled the Imperial advance for weeks. The Armageddon campaigns provided another theater where Ogryn forces demonstrated exceptional valor and tactical effectiveness against Xenos threats. The unique challenges presented by Orc warfare, with its emphasis on close combat and brute force tactics, created ideal conditions for Ogryn military capabilities. The massive industrial complexes and urban environments of Armageddon's hive cities provided terrain that favored the strengths of properly deployed Ogryn units, while minimizing their tactical limitations. Bonied Sergeant Throg of the Armageddon Steel Legion earned recognition during the Second War for Armageddon through his innovative use of industrial equipment as improvised weapons. His squad's defense of Manufactorum Complex 7 Alpha involved the creative deployment of heavy industrial machinery, with Ogryn troops using their enhanced strength to operate construction equipment as weapons against advancing Orc forces. Throg's tactical awareness allowed him to identify the defensive potential of the industrial complex and coordinate its transformation into an effective fortress that held against multiple Orc assaults. The close combat nature of Orc warfare provided numerous opportunities for individual Ogryn to demonstrate exceptional heroism through personal combat achievements. Trooper Brack of the 114th Cadian earned battlefield commendation for his defeat of an Orc warboss in single combat, using his massive strength and specialized close combat training to overcome an enemy whose size and ferocity had terrorized entire Imperial Guard companies. His victory provided a crucial morale boost to Imperial forces while eliminating a key enemy leader whose tactical abilities had coordinated multiple successful Orc assaults. Urban warfare operations during the Armageddon campaigns showcased the tactical flexibility of properly trained Ogryn forces in complex battlefield environments. The industrial terrain of Armageddon's cities provided numerous opportunities for Ogryn troops to utilize their enhanced strength for tactical advantages, including the ability to create new routes of advance through industrial structures and the capacity to operate heavy equipment that could serve dual roles as weapons and construction tools. The Cadian Shock troops' integration of Ogryn forces during the Armageddon campaigns established new tactical doctrines that emphasized the coordinated employment of abhuman and baseline human forces in urban warfare environments. These doctrines recognized that Ogryn capabilities complemented rather than replaced conventional infantry tactics, with their massive strength and durability providing specialized capabilities that enhanced overall unit effectiveness rather than serving as simple substitutes for baseline human soldiers. Recognition of exceptional Ogryn service extends beyond individual battlefield achievements to encompass broader contributions to Imperial military effectiveness and unit cohesion. The Imperial military's formal recognition system includes specialized commendations designed specifically for abhuman personnel, acknowledging both their unique capabilities and the different nature of their service contributions. These recognition systems help maintain morale within Ogryn units while providing examples of exceptional service that inspire other abhuman personnel to achieve similar levels of performance. Battlefield promotions for Ogryn personnel require careful consideration of their cognitive capabilities and the specific requirements of leadership positions within Imperial military structures. The most successful Ogryn leaders typically achieve non-commissioned officer ranks, where their natural authority over other abhumans and their practical battlefield experience provide valuable leadership capabilities without requiring the complex decision-making skills necessary for commissioned officer positions. These promoted Ogryns serve as crucial links between human command authority and abhuman operational capabilities. The Imperial Guard's formal recognition of Ogryn achievements includes specialized medals and commendations that acknowledge their unique service contributions while maintaining the dignity and respect appropriate for Imperial military personnel. The Ogryn Service Cross recognizes exceptional valor in combat operations, while the Abhuman Loyalty Medal acknowledges long-term service and dedication to Imperial causes. These recognition systems help maintain unit cohesion and morale while providing tangible acknowledgement of Ogryn contributions to Imperial military success. Training programs for exceptional Ogryn personnel include advanced instruction in leadership techniques, tactical awareness, and specialized equipment operation that can elevate their capabilities beyond standard abhuman performance levels. These programs identify Ogryn with enhanced cognitive function and natural leadership abilities, providing them with additional conditioning and training that maximizes their potential contributions to Imperial military operations. The most successful graduates of these programs serve as examples of Ogryn potential while providing practical leadership capabilities that enhance unit effectiveness. The documentation of Ogryn heroism serves broader Imperial propaganda purposes while providing practical examples of exceptional service that can inspire other abhuman personnel. Imperial military historians maintain detailed records of notable Ogryn achievements, creating a body of literature that demonstrates the value of abhuman service while providing tactical case studies that inform future military planning and doctrine development. These historical records help maintain institutional memory of successful Ogryn deployments while providing educational materials for training programs. Specialized Ogryn formations have produced numerous heroes whose achievements demonstrate the potential for abhuman forces when properly organized and equipped for specific tactical roles. Ogryn squads have produced exceptional leaders whose tactical innovations in siege warfare and urban combat have influenced broader Imperial military doctrine. Close assault specialists have achieved legendary status through individual combat achievements that demonstrate the devastating potential of properly trained and equipped Ogryn forces in appropriate tactical situations. The psychological impact of Ogryn heroes extends beyond their immediate military units to influence broader Imperial attitudes toward abhuman service and capabilities. The documented achievements of exceptional Ogryn personnel help counter prejudices and misconceptions about abhuman capabilities while demonstrating their potential contributions to Imperial military effectiveness. These positive examples help maintain support for abhuman recruitment and training programs while encouraging continued investment in their development and deployment. Medical documentation of Ogryn casualties and survival rates during major campaigns provides valuable data for improving their tactical employment and protective equipment. The enhanced durability characteristic of the Ogryn strain results in survival rates that exceed those of baseline human forces in comparable situations, though their massive size and conspicuous presence on the battlefield often draws concentrated enemy fire that increases their casualty rates. Analysis of these patterns helps military planners optimize Ogryn deployment strategies while identifying equipment improvements that can enhance their survivability. The integration of Ogryn heroes into broader Imperial military culture includes their incorporation into regimental traditions, unit histories, and ceremonial functions that acknowledge their contributions while maintaining their connection to their human comrades. Many Imperial Guard regiments maintain shrines or memorials dedicated to fallen Ogryn personnel, while unit traditions often include references to exceptional Ogryn achievements that have contributed to regimental honor and effectiveness. Recruitment programs benefit significantly from the documented achievements of exceptional Ogryn personnel, with their stories serving as powerful incentives for potential recruits and their families. The knowledge that Ogryn service can lead to recognition, advancement, and honored status within Imperial military structures helps maintain recruitment levels while encouraging the best candidates to volunteer for military service. These success stories help counter negative stereotypes about abhuman capabilities while demonstrating the potential rewards of loyal Imperial service. The tactical lessons learned from exceptional Ogryn performances continue to influence Imperial military doctrine and training programs across multiple theaters of operation. The innovative techniques developed by outstanding Ogryn leaders have been incorporated into standard tactical manuals, while their equipment modifications and operational procedures have influenced the development of new weapons and equipment designed specifically for abhuman forces. These contributions demonstrate that exceptional individuals can influence broader military effectiveness regardless of their origins or initial capabilities. The integration of Ogryn auxilia with the galaxy's most prestigious Imperial Guard regiments represents a complex synthesis of military tradition, tactical necessity, and adaptive command structures that has evolved over millennia of warfare. Each renowned regiment approaches the incorporation of these massive abhumans differently, shaped by their unique combat doctrines, recruitment traditions, and battlefield experiences. The Catachan jungle fighters, with their emphasis on individual survival skills and unconventional warfare tactics, have developed perhaps the most distinctive relationship with their Ogryn attachments, treating these abhumans as valued specialists rather than simple heavy weapons platforms. Catachan commanders recognized early that standard Ogryn conditioning protocols proved inadequate for jungle warfare environments where stealth, environmental awareness, and independent decision-making often determined survival. The dense vegetation and treacherous terrain of death worlds like Catachan itself created unique challenges that required modified training approaches for Ogryn personnel. Rather than attempting to force these abhumans into conventional tactical roles, Catachan officers developed specialized employment doctrines that maximized their natural advantages while compensating for their cognitive limitations through enhanced environmental training. The Catachan approach to Ogryn integration emphasizes practical skills development over complex tactical instruction. Ogryn attached to jungle fighter units receive extensive training in vegetation navigation, predator recognition, and environmental hazard identification that builds upon their natural survival instincts. These abhumans learn to identify edible plants, locate water sources, and recognize dangerous wildlife through simplified but effective training programs that utilize their enhanced pattern recognition capabilities rather than attempting to develop abstract reasoning skills. Catachan Ogryn developed distinctive equipment loadouts that reflect their specialized operational environment. Standard Ripper guns receive modifications that include enhanced corrosion resistance, simplified maintenance procedures suitable for field conditions, and specialized ammunition types designed for jungle warfare applications. Their close combat weapons incorporate features adapted for vegetation clearing and predator defense, with reinforced construction that can withstand the demands of prolonged operations in hostile environments without regular maintenance support. The relationship between Catachan human personnel and their Ogryn attachments demonstrates remarkable mutual respect based on shared survival experiences and complementary capabilities. Catachan soldiers, themselves products of harsh environmental conditions, appreciate the natural toughness and endurance that Ogryn bring to jungle operations. The abhuman's ability to carry heavy equipment loads through difficult terrain while maintaining combat effectiveness proves invaluable during extended patrol operations, where supply lines remain unreliable or non-existent. Catachan Ogryn squads typically operate with greater independence than their counterparts in other regiments, reflecting both the nature of jungle warfare and the enhanced environmental training they receive. These units often function as advanced scouts or rearguard elements, utilizing their enhanced senses and natural camouflage abilities to detect enemy movements or environmental threats that might escape notice by baseline human soldiers. Their massive frames, while seemingly disadvantageous in dense vegetation, prove surprisingly effective at moving through jungle terrain when properly trained in vegetation navigation techniques. The Cadian shock troops approach Ogryn integration from a fundamentally different perspective, emphasizing disciplined formations, coordinated fire support, and precise tactical execution that reflects their reputation as the Imperium's premier conventional infantry force. Cadian military doctrine incorporates Ogryn units as specialized heavy assault elements within larger combined arms formations, with their deployment carefully coordinated with artillery support, armored elements, and conventional infantry units to maximize overall battlefield effectiveness. Cadian Ogryn receive conditioning and training that emphasizes discipline, unit cohesion, and response to complex tactical situations through simplified command structures and enhanced communication protocols. The famous Cadian discipline extends to their abhuman attachments through rigorous training programs that instill automatic responses to standard tactical situations and clear understanding of their role within larger military formations. These Ogryn learn to function as integral components of combined arms operations rather than independent assault units. The equipment standardization characteristic of Cadian forces extends to their Ogryn attachments, with specialized weapons and protective gear manufactured to consistent specifications that ensure compatibility with broader logistical systems. Cadian Ogryn utilize standardized Ripper gun variants that share common components with other regimental weapons, simplified maintenance procedures that can be performed by standard armorer personnel, and ammunition types that integrate with existing supply chains to minimize logistical complexity. Cadian tactical doctrine emphasizes the coordinated employment of Ogryn units as force multipliers within established operational frameworks rather than specialized independent operators. These abhumans typically deploy as heavy assault elements that exploit breaches created by artillery bombardment, provide close support for advancing infantry formations, or serve as mobile strongpoints that anchor defensive positions during enemy counterattacks. Their integration into Cadian operations reflects careful planning and coordination that maximizes their strengths while minimizing their tactical limitations. The psychological impact of Cadian discipline on Ogryn personnel creates enhanced unit cohesion and battlefield effectiveness that exceeds the performance of less rigorously trained abhuman units. The clear command structures and predictable operational procedures characteristic of Cadian forces provide the structured environment that Ogryn require for optimal performance, while the regiment's reputation for military excellence creates pride and motivation that enhances their combat effectiveness. Vistroyan firstborn regiments incorporate Ogryn attachments through approaches that reflect their aristocratic military traditions and emphasis on ceremonial precision combined with battlefield effectiveness. The Vistroyan approach to abhuman integration emphasizes the honor and dignity of military service while maintaining clear distinctions between the roles and capabilities of different personnel types within their formations. Vistroyan Ogryn receive training that emphasizes military bearing, ceremonial procedures, and the importance of regimental honor alongside practical combat skills. The unique recruitment traditions of Vistroyan regiments, which draw their personnel from noble families fulfilling hereditary military obligations, create interesting dynamics when integrating Ogryn personnel who lack comparable social backgrounds. Vistroyan officers address this challenge through the development of honorary family structures that incorporate Ogryn personnel into regimental traditions while maintaining appropriate distinctions based on capability and role. These honorary relationships create strong bonds between human and abhuman personnel that enhance unit cohesion and battlefield effectiveness. Vistroyan Ogryn equipment reflects the regiment's emphasis on ceremonial appearance combined with practical battlefield effectiveness. Their weapons and protective gear incorporate decorative elements that maintain regimental appearance standards while providing the enhanced durability and simplified operation necessary for abhuman use. Ceremonial modifications include regimental insignia, honor markings, and specialized finishes that integrate Ogryn equipment with broader regimental aesthetic standards. The Vistroyan approach to Ogryn tactical employment emphasizes their role as elite assault troops whose deployment reflects regimental honor and tactical sophistication. These abhumans receive training in formal military procedures, ceremonial drill, and the importance of maintaining regimental reputation through exemplary conduct and battlefield performance. Their integration into Vistroyan operations includes participation in ceremonial functions and formal military events that reinforce their status as valued members of elite military formations. Regional variations in Ogryn recruitment and training reflect the diverse combat doctrines and operational requirements of different Imperial Guard regiments across the galaxy. Desert warfare specialists like the Tallarn Desert Raiders develop Ogryn training programs that emphasize heat tolerance, water conservation, and navigation techniques adapted for arid environments. These abhumans learn to function effectively in extreme temperature conditions while maintaining combat effectiveness during extended operations with limited supply support. Mountain warfare regiments, such as the Mordian Iron Guard, incorporate Ogryn personnel through training programs that emphasize high-altitude operations, cold weather survival, and specialized equipment operation adapted for mountainous terrain. These abhumans develop enhanced climbing capabilities, specialized equipment handling skills, and tactical awareness suited for operations in vertical terrain where conventional infantry tactics prove inadequate. Urban warfare specialists integrate Ogryn personnel through training programs that emphasize building clearing techniques, rubble navigation, and coordination with armored elements in confined urban environments. These abhumans learn to utilize their massive strength for creating new routes of advance through urban structures, while providing close support for conventional infantry operations in complex three-dimensional battlefield environments. The relationship between Ogryn and human soldiers within Imperial Guard regiments demonstrates remarkable adaptability and mutual respect that transcends the obvious physical and cognitive differences between these groups. Human soldiers quickly learn to appreciate the unique capabilities that Ogryn bring to military operations, while the natural loyalty and protective instincts of the abhuman strain create strong bonds with their human comrades that enhance overall unit effectiveness and morale. Protective instincts inherent in Ogryn psychology manifest in their relationships with human soldiers through behaviors that extend far beyond simple military duty. These abhumans often develop strong emotional attachments to specific human personnel, particularly officers and specialists who treat them with respect and understanding. The protective behaviors that result from these relationships can drive Ogryn to extraordinary acts of courage and sacrifice that exceed their normal military obligations. Battlefield camaraderie between human and Ogryn personnel develops through shared combat experiences that demonstrate the complementary nature of their respective capabilities. Human soldiers learn to coordinate their tactics with Ogryn strengths, utilizing their massive firepower and close combat effectiveness to maximum advantage, while providing the tactical awareness and technical skills that abhumans lack. This mutual dependence creates strong unit bonds that enhance combat effectiveness and survival rates for both groups. The mentoring relationships that develop between experienced human soldiers and Ogryn personnel reflect the natural teaching instincts of veteran troops combined with the learning capabilities of properly conditioned abhumans. Human veterans learn to communicate effectively with Ogryn personnel through simple, direct instruction methods that build upon their natural pattern recognition abilities and practical intelligence. These relationships often extend beyond immediate military requirements to encompass broader aspects of military life and personal development. Specialized roles within Imperial Guard regiments maximize Ogryn capabilities while addressing their cognitive limitations through carefully designed operational procedures and equipment modifications. Heavy weapons teams incorporating Ogryn personnel utilize their enhanced strength and durability to operate crew-served weapons that would normally require multiple baseline human operators. These teams can maintain higher rates of fire, carry larger ammunition loads, and continue operating under conditions that would compromise conventional heavy weapons crews. Ogryn heavy weapons specialists receive training in weapon operation, ammunition handling, and basic maintenance procedures adapted for their cognitive capabilities and physical characteristics. Their enhanced strength allows them to position and reposition heavy weapons with remarkable speed, while their natural durability provides protection against enemy counter-battery fire that would threaten conventional weapons crews. The simplified operation procedures developed for Ogryn heavy weapons teams emphasize reliability and effectiveness over complex tactical applications. Assault specialist roles capitalize on the natural close combat advantages of Ogryn personnel, while providing them with specialized equipment and training that maximizes their battlefield effectiveness. These abhumans receive enhanced conditioning that improves their speed and agility alongside their natural strength, creating troops capable of rapid assault operations that can overwhelm enemy positions through sheer physical superiority. Assault specialists typically operate in small teams that provide mutual support while maintaining the tactical flexibility necessary for rapid response to changing battlefield conditions. The equipment loadouts for Ogryn assault specialists emphasize mobility, firepower, and protection in configurations that maximize their natural advantages while compensating for their tactical limitations. Specialized weapons include shortened versions of standard Ogryn firearms that provide enhanced maneuverability in close quarters, while protective equipment incorporates lightweight materials that maintain mobility without sacrificing essential protection. Assault specialists also carry specialized breaching equipment that allows them to create new routes of advance through enemy fortifications. Defensive line anchor roles utilize the natural durability and intimidation factor of Ogryn personnel to create strongpoints that can withstand enemy assault operations while providing rallying points for human defenders. These abhumans receive training in defensive tactics, position fortification, and coordination with supporting elements that maximizes their effectiveness in static defensive operations. Their massive frames and enhanced durability make them ideal for holding critical positions that must be maintained regardless of enemy pressure. Ogryn defensive specialists develop expertise in position preparation, obstacle placement, and coordination with indirect fire support that enhances their effectiveness as anchor points for larger defensive formations. Their natural understanding of structural principles allows them to improve defensive positions through practical modifications that increase protection in fields of fire. These improvements often exceed the capabilities of conventional engineering support while requiring minimal additional resources or specialized equipment. The tactical employment of Ogryn personnel in defensive operations emphasizes their psychological impact on enemy forces alongside their practical military capabilities. The sight of massive armored figures occupying key defensive positions creates fear and uncertainty among attacking forces, while providing confidence and morale benefits for defending human troops. This psychological warfare component enhances the overall effectiveness of defensive operations beyond the immediate tactical contributions of individual Ogryn personnel. Coordination between different Ogryn specializations within larger military formations requires sophisticated command and control systems that account for their unique capabilities and limitations while maximizing their collective effectiveness. Mixed Ogryn formations that combine heavy weapons specialists, assault troops, and defensive specialists can provide comprehensive military capabilities that exceed the sum of their individual contributions when properly coordinated and supported. The integration of specialized Ogryn roles with conventional Imperial Guard operations continues to evolve as military commanders gain experience with these unique troops and develop new tactical applications for their capabilities. Recent innovations include the development of rapid response teams that combine different Ogryn specializations with conventional forces, creating highly flexible units capable of adapting to various tactical situations while maintaining the specialized advantages that make abhuman troops valuable military assets. Training programs for specialized Ogryn roles incorporate lessons learned from successful deployments across multiple theaters of operation, with continuous refinement of procedures and techniques that improve their effectiveness while reducing casualties and resource requirements. These programs emphasize practical skills development over theoretical instruction, utilizing hands-on training methods that build upon natural Ogryn learning patterns and cognitive strengths rather than attempting to overcome their fundamental limitations through complex instruction methods. The development of Bulgryn from standard Ogryn stock represents one of the most successful specialized enhancement programs within the Imperial military hierarchy. These elite shock troops emerge through a combination of selective recruitment, intensive conditioning, and advanced equipment provision that transforms already formidable Ogryn into devastating assault specialists capable of breaking through enemy fortifications that would halt conventional forces. The Bulgrin enhancement process begins with the identification of Ogryn specimens who demonstrate exceptional physical characteristics, enhanced cognitive function, and superior loyalty indicators that mark them as candidates for advanced modification. The selection criteria for Bulgrin candidates emphasize not merely physical prowess, but specific combinations of traits that indicate potential for enhanced tactical awareness and equipment operation. Candidates must demonstrate bone density measurements exceeding even normal Ogryn standards, cardiovascular capacity sufficient to support the additional weight of specialized equipment, and neurological patterns suggesting enhanced spatial reasoning capabilities. The Adeptus Biologus maintains strict genetic screening protocols that identify Ogryn with specific gene expressions associated with enhanced armor integration and weapon proficiency. Bulgrin conditioning protocols incorporate advanced biochemical treatments that exceed those administered to standard Ogryn forces. The primary enhancement compound, designated Aegis Fortis, contains synthetic hormones that increase bone density by an additional 15% while enhancing muscle fiber recruitment patterns for improved coordination with heavy equipment. These treatments require careful monitoring as the enhanced physiological stress can cause cardiac complications in subjects with pre-existing conditions. The conditioning process typically spans 8 months, with candidates undergoing gradual adaptation to their enhanced capabilities alongside intensive equipment training. The specialized protective equipment that defines Bulgrin capabilities represents sophisticated engineering solutions designed to maximize their natural advantages while providing unprecedented protection levels. Slab shields constructed for Bulgrin use incorporate multiple layers of reinforced ceramite, ablative armor compounds, and shock-absorbing materials that can withstand direct hits from heavy weapons while remaining manageable for enhanced Ogryn strength. Each shield weighs approximately 45 kilograms and measures 1.8 meters in height, providing comprehensive protection for the operator while maintaining sufficient mobility for assault operations. The internal structure of Bulgrin slab shields incorporates advanced materials science that distributes impact forces across the entire surface area while channeling energy away from the operator. Specialized mounting systems interface directly with Bulgrin armor, creating integrated protection systems that function as unified defensive platforms rather than separate equipment pieces. The shields feature modular construction that allows for field replacement of damaged components, while specialized maintenance protocols ensure continued effectiveness despite the rough handling characteristic of Ogryn operations. Bulgrin armor systems represent the pinnacle of protective equipment designed specifically for abhuman physiology. The complete armor suite weighs nearly 80 kilograms and incorporates powered assistance systems that enhance the operator's natural strength while providing environmental protection against chemical, biological, and radiological hazards. The armor's power systems utilize compact fusion cells that provide operational endurance exceeding 72 hours under normal conditions, while emergency backup systems ensure continued protection even after primary power failure. The tactical employment of Bulgrin squads emphasizes their role as breakthrough specialists capable of spearheading assaults against heavily fortified positions. Their combination of enhanced protection, devastating close combat capabilities, and specialized breaching equipment allows them to accomplish missions that would require entire companies of conventional troops. Bulgrin assault doctrine emphasizes rapid advance under covering fire, with individual squad members providing mutual protection through coordinated shield wall formations that can absorb tremendous amounts of enemy fire while maintaining forward momentum. Bulgrin squads typically operate in formations of 8 to 12 individuals, with squad composition carefully balanced to provide optimal tactical flexibility. Each squad includes specialists trained in different aspects of assault operations, including breaching specialists who carry specialized demolition equipment, heavy weapons operators who provide suppressive fire, and assault specialists who focus on close combat effectiveness. The squad structure emphasizes redundancy and mutual support, with multiple individuals capable of performing each essential function, to ensure continued effectiveness despite casualties. The psychological impact of Bullgrin assault formations on enemy forces cannot be understated. The sight of heavily armored giants advancing through defensive fire while absorbing hits that would destroy conventional troops creates fear and demoralization that often proves as effective as their physical capabilities. Enemy forces frequently break and flee when faced with Bullgrin assault, recognizing the futility of conventional defensive measures against such heavily protected opponents. Regional variations in Ogryn populations across different recruitment worlds create distinct substrains with specialized characteristics that reflect their unique environmental adaptations. The Ogryn of Necromunda's underhive regions demonstrate enhanced toxin resistance and improved low-light vision that reflects generations of adaptation to polluted industrial environments. These specimens exhibit modified liver function that can process industrial chemicals and atmospheric contaminants that would prove lethal to standard Ogryn, while their enhanced sensory capabilities make them valuable for operations in contaminated environments. Necromunda Ogryn display distinctive physical characteristics that include enhanced respiratory capacity, modified skin pigmentation that provides natural protection against chemical exposure, and specialized digestive systems that can derive nutrition from processed food sources unavailable to other Ogryn populations. Their recruitment typically occurs through arrangements with underhive gangs and industrial guilds, with the most capable specimens identified through combat trials and survival tests that demonstrate their enhanced capabilities. The Ogryn populations of Mordian hive cities exhibit adaptations that reflect their urban environment, including enhanced climbing abilities, improved balance and coordination, and specialized sensory development that allows them to navigate complex three-dimensional environments. These urban-adapted Ogryn demonstrate superior performance in building clearing operations and vertical assault missions, with their enhanced spatial awareness providing tactical advantages in confined urban environments. Mordian Ogryn recruitment focuses on individuals who demonstrate exceptional urban survival skills, with selection criteria that emphasize navigation abilities, structural awareness, and coordination with mechanical systems. These specimens often possess enhanced understanding of industrial equipment and architectural principles that make them valuable for siege operations and urban warfare applications. Their conditioning includes specialized training in building clearing techniques and coordination with armored elements in urban environments. The high-gravity mining worlds of the Segmentum Pacificus produce Ogryn variants with enhanced bone density and muscle development that exceeds even standard Ogryn specifications. These specimens, designated Ogryn Maximus by Imperial Biologist classifications, demonstrate strength capabilities that can exceed baseline Ogryn performance by 25 to 30%. Their enhanced physical capabilities come at the cost of reduced cognitive function, with most specimens requiring extensive conditioning to achieve basic military competency. Ogryn Maximus recruitment requires specialized assessment protocols that account for their extreme physical capabilities and enhanced cognitive limitations. Selection criteria emphasize loyalty indicators and basic comprehension abilities, with extensive screening to identify specimens capable of responding to simplified training programs. Their conditioning includes enhanced loyalty compounds and specialized control implants that ensure reliable battlefield performance despite their limited cognitive function. Biochemical enhancement programs beyond standard conditioning represent cutting-edge research into Ogryn potential, with experimental protocols that seek to address fundamental limitations while preserving valuable characteristics. The Adeptus Mechanicus maintains classified research facilities where selected Ogryn specimens undergo experimental treatments designed to enhance cognitive function, improve tactical awareness, and develop specialized capabilities for specific military applications. Experimental cognitive enhancement protocols utilize advanced nootropic compounds combined with targeted neural stimulation that can improve pattern recognition, memory formation, and decision-making capabilities in selected Ogryn subjects. These treatments require extensive monitoring and carry significant risks, with success rates varying dramatically between different Ogryn populations and individual specimens. Successful subjects demonstrate improved tactical awareness and enhanced ability to operate complex equipment, though fundamental cognitive limitations remain. The Ogryn Berserker Enhancement Program represents one of the most extreme biochemical modification protocols, creating specimens with enhanced aggression, reduced pain sensitivity, and improved combat reflexes at the cost of reduced life expectancy and increased instability. These modifications utilize synthetic combat stimulants that permanently alter brain chemistry, creating troops capable of devastating assault performance, but requiring constant supervision to prevent uncontrolled violence. Berserker Ogryn demonstrate combat capabilities that exceed standard Ogryn performance by substantial margins, with enhanced speed, improved reaction times, and reduced fear responses that make them devastating close combat specialists. Their modifications include specialized adrenal gland enhancement, modified pain receptor systems, and neurological changes that increase aggression while maintaining basic military discipline. The enhancement process carries high mortality rates, with approximately 40% of subjects experiencing fatal complications during treatment. Specialized combat variants include Ogryn modified for specific battlefield roles that require enhanced capabilities beyond standard military applications. Siege Breaker variants receive modifications that improve their understanding of structural engineering, with enhanced spatial reasoning and improved ability to identify structural weaknesses in enemy fortifications. These specialists undergo training in demolition techniques and coordination with engineering elements that maximizes their effectiveness in siege operations. Siege Breaker modifications include enhanced sensory capabilities that allow them to detect structural stress patterns, improved hand-eye coordination for precise demolition work, and specialized neural pathways that enhance their understanding of mechanical systems. Their training emphasizes practical engineering applications rather than theoretical knowledge, with hands-on instruction in explosive placement, structural analysis, and coordination with conventional engineering teams. The Ogryn Heavy Weapons Specialist Program creates variants optimized for operating crew-served weapons and heavy equipment that would normally require multiple operators. These modifications include enhanced coordination, improved targeting ability, and specialized neural pathways that allow them to calculate firing solutions and maintain accuracy with heavy weapon systems. The enhancement process includes physical modifications that improve their ability to handle recoil and maintain stability during sustained fire. Heavy weapons specialists receive specialized training in weapon maintenance, ammunition handling, and coordination with fire support elements that maximizes their effectiveness as force multipliers. Their equipment includes modified heavy weapons designed specifically for single-operator use, specialized ammunition handling systems, and enhanced targeting equipment that compensates for their cognitive limitations while maximizing their physical advantages. Rare Ogryn mutations classified by the Adeptus Biologists include both beneficial and detrimental genetic variations that occur spontaneously within Ogryn populations. Beneficial mutations include enhanced regenerative capabilities, improved toxin resistance, and specialized sensory development that can provide tactical advantages in specific environments. These mutations occur at rates of approximately 1 in 10,000 births and are carefully monitored for potential military applications. The Ogryn regenerative variant demonstrates enhanced healing capabilities that allow them to recover from injuries that would prove fatal to standard Ogryn. These specimens exhibit modified cellular repair mechanisms, enhanced blood clotting factors, and improved immune system function that provides natural resistance to infection and disease. Their regenerative capabilities make them valuable for extended operations where medical support remains limited or unavailable. Regenerative Ogryn require specialized medical protocols that account for their enhanced healing capabilities while monitoring for potential complications associated with their modifications. Their enhanced metabolism requires increased nutritional support, while their modified immune systems can react adversely to standard medical treatments. Military applications for regenerative Ogryn emphasize their value in extended operations and high-casualty environments where their survival advantages provide tactical benefits. Enhanced sensory variants include Ogryn with improved vision, hearing, or other sensory capabilities that provide tactical advantages in specific environments. These mutations can include enhanced low-light vision, improved hearing acuity, or specialized chemical detection capabilities that make them valuable for reconnaissance and security operations. Sensory enhancement mutations occur more frequently than other beneficial variants, with rates approaching 1 in 5,000 births in some populations. Sensory-enhanced Ogryn receive specialized training that maximizes their enhanced capabilities while integrating them into conventional military operations. Their equipment includes specialized sensors and communication systems that allow them to share their enhanced perceptions with other unit members, while their tactical employment emphasizes their value as early warning systems and reconnaissance assets. Detrimental mutations within Ogryn populations include genetic variations that compromise their military effectiveness or create health complications that require specialized medical attention. These mutations can include skeletal abnormalities, cardiovascular defects, or neurological conditions that prevent effective military service. The Adeptus Biologics maintains strict screening protocols that identify these conditions early and provide appropriate medical intervention when possible. The classification system for Ogryn mutations utilizes standardized criteria that assess both the immediate impact on military effectiveness and the long-term implications for population health. Beneficial mutations receive priority classification for potential enhancement programs, while detrimental mutations trigger medical intervention protocols designed to minimize their impact on affected individuals and prevent their transmission to future generations. Genetic drift within Ogryn populations represents ongoing evolutionary pressure that can either enhance or compromise their military effectiveness depending on environmental factors and selective pressures. Populations exposed to specific environmental hazards often develop enhanced resistance to those threats, while populations in stable environments may experience gradual degradation of specialized capabilities. The Adeptus Biologics monitors these trends through comprehensive genetic screening programs that track population changes over multiple generations. The management of genetic drift requires careful balance between maintaining beneficial characteristics and preventing the accumulation of detrimental mutations that could compromise Ogryn military effectiveness. Breeding programs on major recruitment worlds utilize selective breeding techniques that encourage beneficial traits while minimizing the transmission of detrimental characteristics. These programs require extensive genetic monitoring and careful coordination between multiple imperial agencies to ensure their effectiveness. Specialized breeding programs represent the most sophisticated approach to Ogryn genetic management, utilizing advanced genetic analysis and selective breeding techniques to optimize populations for specific military applications. These programs identify individuals with desired genetic characteristics and encourage reproduction between selected pairs to enhance the frequency of beneficial traits within the population. The programs require extensive resources and specialized expertise, but can produce significant improvements in military effectiveness over multiple generations. The ethical considerations surrounding Ogryn genetic management create ongoing debates within imperial administrative circles, with different factions advocating various approaches to population optimization. Conservative elements emphasize the preservation of existing Ogryn characteristics and natural population dynamics, while progressive factions advocate for more aggressive genetic modification programs that could enhance military effectiveness. These debates influence policy decisions regarding resource allocation and program priorities for Ogryn development initiatives. The future development of Ogryn variants depends on continued research into their genetic potential and the development of new enhancement technologies that can address their fundamental limitations while preserving their valuable characteristics. Ongoing research programs investigate the potential for gene therapy, advanced biochemical modification, and cybernetic enhancement that could create new categories of specialized Ogryn variants optimized for specific military applications. The current deployment of Ogryn forces across the galaxy reflects both the desperate military needs of the Imperium and the strategic value these abhumans provide in an age of endless warfare. Major war zones throughout Imperial space rely heavily on Ogryn auxilia units to provide the heavy assault capabilities and siege-breaking power that conventional forces cannot match. The Sabbat Worlds Crusade has seen extensive deployment of Ogryn regiments, with their effectiveness in urban warfare and fortification, assault proving crucial to Imperial victories across multiple theater operations. The dense urban environments of hive cities and the fortified positions established by chaos forces create ideal conditions for Ogryn tactical advantages. The Macharian Crusade's legacy continues to influence current Ogryn deployment patterns, with many of the abhuman regiments that participated in that legendary campaign now serving as veteran formations across various sectors. These experienced units carry institutional knowledge of combined arms operations and siege warfare that makes them invaluable assets for ongoing military operations. The 5th Mordian Ogryn Auxilia, veterans of 17 major siege operations during the Macharian Crusade, currently operates in the Segmentum Pacificus, where their expertise in fortress assault has proven decisive in breaking Orc strongholds across the Charadan sector. The Damocles Gulf campaigns against Tau expansion have revealed new tactical applications for Ogryn forces in combating technologically advanced enemies. The Tau preference for ranged warfare and technological superiority creates challenges that Ogryn units address through their natural resilience to energy weapons and their ability to close rapidly with enemy positions. The 12th Cadian Ogryn Auxilia distinguished themselves during the Mugulath Bay offensive by advancing through sustained pulse rifle fire that would have decimated conventional infantry, allowing Imperial forces to engage Tau fire warriors in close combat where their technological advantages proved less decisive. Current estimates suggest approximately 200,000 Ogryns serve across active Imperial Guard regiments throughout the galaxy, with concentrations varying significantly between different sectors based on recruitment world locations and strategic requirements. The Segmentum Solar maintains the highest concentration of Ogryn forces due to proximity to major recruitment worlds like Anarch Zeta, while frontier sectors often operate with limited abhuman support due to supply line constraints and recruitment challenges. The distribution of these forces reflects careful strategic planning that balances immediate tactical needs against long-term sustainability concerns. The Great Rift's emergence has created unprecedented challenges for maintaining Ogryn recruitment and deployment across the divided galaxy. Communication disruptions between recruitment worlds and military command structures have complicated the coordination of training programs and unit assignments, while warp storm activity has isolated several major Ogryn populations from Imperial contact. Anarch Zeta itself experienced 6 months of complete isolation when warp storms prevented all interstellar travel to the system, creating significant shortfalls in planned recruitment quotas that continue to impact force strength calculations. Recruitment world stability has become a critical concern as the Great Rift's effects continue to influence warp travel patterns and interstellar communication. Kirk experienced a major chaos incursion that required the deployment of 2 full Imperial Guard regiments to contain, resulting in significant casualties among the planet's Ogryn population and the destruction of several major training facilities. The reconstruction efforts have prioritized restoring recruitment capabilities, but the long-term impact on Ogryn availability remains substantial. The challenges of maintaining abhuman populations in the current strategic environment extend beyond simple recruitment numbers to encompass genetic stability and population health concerns. Several Ogryn worlds have reported increased mutation rates and genetic abnormalities that may be linked to increased warp exposure following the Great Rift's formation. The Adeptus Biologics has deployed specialized teams to investigate these phenomena, but their findings remain classified, and their recommendations for population management have not been publicly disclosed. Supply line disruptions caused by warp storm activity have created severe logistical challenges for Ogryn units operating in affected sectors. The massive caloric requirements of these abhumans make them particularly vulnerable to supply shortages, while their specialized equipment needs cannot be met through local requisition in most theater operations. The 8th Vestroyan Ogryn Auxilia operating in the Nachman Gauntlet has been reduced to 60% effective strength due to equipment shortages and inadequate food supplies, despite continued combat effectiveness of remaining personnel. Ogryn encounters with Chaos forces have provided valuable intelligence regarding abhuman resistance to corruption and the specific vulnerabilities that enemy forces attempt to exploit. The natural loyalty and simplified thought patterns of Ogryn appear to provide significant protection against many forms of chaos corruption, particularly those that rely on complex philosophical manipulation or appeals to personal ambition. However, their physical nature makes them susceptible to corruption through pain, torture, and physical degradation that can break their mental conditioning and loyalty programming. The resistance mechanisms that protect Ogryn from chaos corruption appear to stem from both their neurological limitations and their biochemical conditioning. The simplified neural pathways that characterize Ogryn cognition provide fewer entry points for the subtle mental influences that chaos entities typically employ to corrupt baseline humans. Additionally, the loyalty-enhancing compounds used in their conditioning create neurochemical barriers that resist external manipulation attempts, though these protections can be overwhelmed through sustained exposure or particularly powerful corrupting influences. Documented cases of Ogryn falling to chaos corruption reveal specific patterns that Imperial forces have learned to recognize and counter. Physical torture and degradation represent the primary vectors for Ogryn corruption, with chaos forces deliberately targeting the protective instincts and loyalty bonds that define abhuman psychology. The corruption process typically begins with the capture and torture of human personnel that Ogryn have bonded with, using their protective instincts to create psychological stress that weakens their mental conditioning. The Siege of Mordax Prime provided extensive documentation of chaos corruption attempts against Ogryn forces, with enemy forces employing sophisticated psychological warfare techniques specifically designed to exploit abhuman vulnerabilities. Chaos cultists captured several human officers from the 15th Mordian Iron Guard and subjected them to public torture within sight of their Ogryn attachments, creating psychological trauma that gradually eroded the abhuman's mental conditioning. 3 Ogryn eventually succumbed to corruption after witnessing the prolonged torture of their human comrades, though the majority of the unit maintained their loyalty despite severe psychological stress. The tactical implications of Ogryn corruption extend beyond simple personnel losses to encompass the devastating potential of corrupted abhumans operating against Imperial forces. Corrupted Ogryn retain their massive physical capabilities while gaining enhanced aggression and pain tolerance that makes them extremely dangerous opponents. Their knowledge of Imperial tactics and equipment provides Chaos forces with significant intelligence advantages, while their appearance can create confusion and hesitation among Imperial troops who struggle to engage what appear to be friendly forces. Counter-corruption protocols developed by Imperial forces emphasize prevention through enhanced loyalty conditioning and rapid response to corruption attempts. Units with significant Ogryn attachments receive specialized training in recognizing early signs of corruption and implementing immediate countermeasures that can prevent the spread of chaos influence. These protocols include enhanced medical monitoring, psychological evaluation procedures, and emergency loyalty reinforcement treatments that can stabilize affected personnel before corruption becomes irreversible. The development of corruption-resistant conditioning represents ongoing research priorities for Imperial military scientists seeking to enhance Ogryn protection against chaos influence. Experimental treatments include enhanced loyalty compounds, improved neural implants, and specialized psychological conditioning that creates multiple layers of protection against corruption attempts. These programs show promise, but require extensive testing and refinement before widespread implementation across Ogryn forces. Genetic monitoring programs have become essential tools for maintaining Ogryn population stability and military effectiveness in the face of increasing environmental pressures and genetic drift. The Adeptus Biologics maintains comprehensive genetic databases that track population changes across multiple generations, identifying trends that could compromise military effectiveness or indicate emerging health concerns. These monitoring systems provide early warning of genetic problems while identifying populations with enhanced capabilities that could benefit from specialized breeding programs. Population sustainability concerns have intensified as military demands for Ogryn forces continue to increase, while recruitment world populations face various pressures that limit their growth potential. The high casualty rates characteristic of Ogryn military service create ongoing demands for replacement personnel that strain the reproductive capacity of source populations. Additionally, the selection of prime breeding stock for military service removes the most physically capable individuals from reproductive populations, potentially compromising long-term genetic health. The implementation of sustainable recruitment practices requires careful balance between immediate military needs and long-term population health. Recruitment quotas must account for the reproductive capacity of source populations, while ensuring adequate genetic diversity to prevent inbreeding and maintain population viability. These calculations require sophisticated demographic analysis and genetic modeling that accounts for multiple variables including casualty rates, recruitment standards, and environmental pressures affecting source populations. Specialized breeding programs represent the most sophisticated approach to ensuring Ogryn population sustainability while optimizing military effectiveness. These programs utilize advanced genetic screening to identify optimal breeding pairs and encourage reproduction between individuals with desired characteristics. The programs require extensive resources and careful management to avoid creating genetic bottlenecks that could compromise population health, while their effectiveness depends on maintaining adequate genetic diversity within managed populations. The continued military importance of Ogryn forces in Imperial strategic planning reflects their unique capabilities and the increasing demands of warfare in the 41st millennium. The massive scale of current military operations requires force multipliers that can provide disproportionate combat effectiveness relative to their resource requirements. Ogryn units fulfill this requirement by providing heavy assault capabilities that would otherwise require much larger conventional forces, while their enhanced durability reduces casualty rates and medical support requirements compared to baseline human alternatives. Technological developments in Ogryn equipment and conditioning continue to enhance their military effectiveness while addressing traditional limitations. Advanced armor systems provide improved protection while maintaining mobility, while new weapon designs optimize their natural strength advantages for maximum battlefield impact. Biochemical conditioning improvements enhance their cognitive function and tactical awareness without compromising their valuable loyalty characteristics or physical capabilities. The integration of Ogryn forces with emerging military technologies represents ongoing development priorities that could significantly enhance their battlefield effectiveness. Experimental programs investigate the potential for cybernetic enhancement, advanced targeting systems, and powered armor that could transform Ogryn into even more formidable military assets. These developments require careful evaluation to ensure compatibility with Ogryn physiology and cognitive capabilities, while maintaining the cost-effectiveness that makes them valuable military resources. Strategic planning for Ogryn force development emphasizes sustainability, effectiveness, and adaptability to changing battlefield conditions. Military planners recognize that these abhumans will continue to play crucial roles in Imperial military operations for the foreseeable future, requiring ongoing investment in their development and deployment capabilities. The challenges posed by the Great Rift and increasing chaos activity create additional demands for Ogryn capabilities, while complicating the logistical and administrative systems that support their military service. As the Imperium faces its darkest hour in the 41st millennium, the Ogryns stand as stalwart defenders whose simple loyalty and devastating physical capabilities provide hope against overwhelming odds. Their continued service represents the best of human adaptation and Imperial military doctrine, demonstrating that even the humblest servants of the Emperor can achieve greatness through dedication and sacrifice. The massive frames of these gentle giants carry not only the weight of their specialized equipment, but the hopes of countless Imperial worlds that depend on their protection against the horrors that threaten humanity's survival. The future of the Ogryn strain within the Imperium remains secure as long as their recruitment worlds endure and their genetic stability continues. Their unique combination of physical prowess, unwavering loyalty, and tactical utility ensures their continued importance to Imperial military operations regardless of changing strategic circumstances. In an age of darkness where humanity faces extinction from countless threats, the Ogryn provide a beacon of reliability and strength that exemplifies the best qualities of human evolution and Imperial military excellence. Their service will continue as long as the Imperium endures, their massive forms standing guard against the darkness that seeks to consume all of humanity's achievements across the galaxy.